And we are live. How's everybody doing tonight? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and you're watching and or listening to ABL Live. You could have been almost anywhere, unless you're in the heavily quarantined state with a curfew in the world tonight, but you're right here with me, and I definitely appreciate y'all for that. It's a whole lot going on all over the internets, all over mainstream media, everywhere. I'm not really sure where to begin. I've been watching that whole thing with the Georgia shooting. No, people are reacting so quickly without knowing much information. They see a video and they want to draw conclusions from that. But with these stories, one thing I've always learned is that you can't jump to the gun. You can't be so quick to be like, oh, that was right, wrong, or anything else. When you wait a little bit and figure out what's happening, all the details, the picture becomes clear. I'm not saying it'll be right. I'm not saying it'll be wrong. All I'm saying is that the picture will become clearer once you know more of what's happening, once you learn more information. When people react just so quickly, they just react out of the blue and say, okay, this is what happened, justice for X, Y, and Z. It just kind of clouds their judgment. And I don't like having clouded judgment myself. Does the video look bad? Of course. But what's really going on? If it was as bad as people are saying, then why did it take till right now to bring any kind of charges? Maybe the video just came out. Why is it just now coming out? What's really going on? We'll talk about that and much more on tonight's episode of ABL Live. And I thank y'all for joining. I definitely appreciate you. If you like the channel, if you like what you're hearing, if you like what's going on, give me a thumbs up on the video, share the video as well. If you're listening on an audio streaming platform, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, iTunes, Anchor, wherever you are, give me a review, 5-star rating or whatever you can over there. And I'd appreciate that as well. Also, if you are a first-time subscriber, please go ahead and subscribe. And when you subscribe, hit the bell. When you click that bell, you get notified when I go live and or post a new video. So let's go ahead and get rocking and rolling. I'm going to start with the Georgia shooting. People have been getting this. People have been sending me this all day. And like I said, this is something that happened, I think, 2 months ago. So it's not a new story at all. It's just new to us because we're just not hearing about it in the greater, country. Like it was already going on down there in Brunswick, Georgia. But we're just now hearing about it. Now, I don't know when the video came out. Like I said, if the video just now coming out and there was a bystander with their phone that recorded it, why is it just now coming out? When did it get presented? Who recorded it? I'm hearing rumors, all the rumors are wearing me out. They're saying that it's 3 people that are, involved with the person's killing. The father and the son that chased down in the truck. Like the facts of the case from what I see, from what we can see in the video and what the guys say, the guys that killed him, they say, and before I get into it, I got to back up because you might not understand what's going on. You might not be familiar with the story. Now, there's a story of unarmed black man. It ain't been one of them in a while. That was a really big thing back in Obama's time. Unarmed black man shot, killed. It ain't been too many of those recently, but I'll move on. This is in Brunswick, Georgia. Unarmed black man, possibly unarmed, is jogging in the neighborhood, right? Jogging, doing whatever he's doing. And then you got 2 white guys in the truck, father and son. I think the father is a retired sheriff or something, some kind of retired law enforcement, right? Now, they think he is the guy that has been doing a bunch of home invasions and or burglaries in the area, a lot of break-ins in the area. It could be him, might not be him. They think it's him. So they decide to follow the guy. Sound familiar? Anyway, they get in their truck, rifle, shotgun. So they're ready. So, and from what they said, they're ready to rock as soon as they got in their truck. They saw him down the street, jogging or whatever. And then like, okay, let's go ahead and get it. So they get into their truck. One guy's in the back of the truck, so he's ready for action. Okay, why would you be riding in the back of the truck if you're not ready to go? At that point, you're ready just to pull up on him, hop out and be like, whatever you want to say. Anyway, they follow him in the truck as he's jogging. And then they corner him. They kind of cut him off. One of the guys pops out and says, hey, we want to talk to you, X, Y, and Z. And the fight commences. Now, they're trying to say, oh, he attacked us first. But if I am jogging, right, this is keywords. If, maybe, because I don't know the full story. I'm just going off of what I have been reading and hearing from all sides in the video. If I'm jogging and I got some guys behind me, they're following me, and I'm looking over my shoulder, they still there. One guy's in the back of the truck, standing up in the bed of the truck. They cut me off. Instantly, I'm ready to fight or flight right away, because I know that this ain't normal for them to be cutting me off. What's going on? I see one guy is, like I said, in the bed of the truck, standing up with the pump, with the pump action, and the other guy hops out with the pistol. So what am I to do in this situation? That's if what I'm saying is correct about them having the guns visible and all this and that. And they even admitted that they cut them off. My thing is this. What they should have done was call the police. If you see somebody that looks like he's suspicious or whatever, then you got to call the police. It'd be different if you saw him commit a crime. Like, let's say, for example, you are at the crib, right? Or you just happen to be riding through a neighborhood and you see a crime take place. You might want to be, Mr. Cowboy, deputy, savior, and try to intervene. Okay, whatever happens in that situation, but you did not see a crime. You saw a guy that looks like somebody that may have committed crimes. Easy. So really, you would have been within your legal right to follow him and call the police. That's where your legal rights end. Now, when it comes to the confrontation and the gunplay and the fight, all of that, now becomes a situation where how did the fight start? Who was the aggressor? What was the appropriate force? What are the laws in the area regarding the fight? At that point, now it goes to the legal system and they take care of it. But my question was this. If there was a video already 2 months ago when it happened, or whenever it was not recently. This is not a new incident. Happened some months ago. If there was a video back then, why is it just now getting released? And why is it just now getting charged? So it's a weird situation to me. I feel like it's so early. I can't really do a video on it because I don't know all the information. I think once we get more information, once we understand more of what happened, then we'll get a full picture. But rumors right now are wearing me out. They're talking about the guy that was recording it. He was involved with the father and son that killed him. They're talking about the guy that got killed was a known gangbanger, had prior record, criminal record. It's just rumors. I don't know what's true or false. All I know is what the video shows me and the account from the father and son that killed the guy. That's all I know. We obviously can't hear from the deceased or anybody else that was with him because he was by himself jogging. One thing I would kind of point out is why would a robbery suspect or burglary suspect be in the neighborhood jogging, the same neighborhood where he robbed? Guys that do burglaries, they don't want to be seen. They want to kind of stay out the way. So they're not going to be in the same neighborhood where they were robbing at. So I don't understand why you'd be in the neighborhood jogging. If you're running full speed down the street with a gun in your hand and some blood on your face, it's different. But if you're just jogging to get some exercise, that's a whole different story. So I don't know why you would think that this guy would be the guy you need to pull a gun on and confront that kind of way. You see what I'm saying? So it's just kind of weird. People are saying that it's fake. I mean, that's another rumor. We don't know what's going on. All I can do is just go off of what the video shows and what the suspects have said. That's why I've not done a video, because there's so many rumors, there's so many holes that are missing that I can't really, I can't give a full opinion on it because I know it's going to be more facts to come out. If I make a video right now, within 2 days, you'll have more facts to come out that totally cancel out that whole video. So then I got to do another one and another one. I'd rather wait until we get more facts, more information, until we hear from the police, until we hear from everybody that's involved, and then we get a clear picture of what's going on. Okay, simple as that. It ain't really nothing else to it. People say that I'm saying BS. Some say that they agree. Some say that it's BS. Either way it goes, it's just our opinion because the facts ain't really known yet. Once the facts come out, then we can make a more clear assertion of what happened. But for right now, I mean, we can't really say. Oh, I was watching Harris Faulkner. Shout out to her on Fox today. And then it was a lady that was on. I forget who she was. She could have been a lawyer, not for anybody that's involved with the case in Georgia, just a lawyer in general. She was saying that on the police tape, allegedly, the police operator, because the guys that shot him, they called the police during it or after it or whatever. Anyway, I guess the operator was asking, okay, why are you following them? And then they were like, well, it's a black guy running. That's what she said. But is that true? Was she just being hyperbolic? Was it just conjecture? See, it's a lot of questions I have, and I think there are more questions than we have answers. But one thing I want to say, just as a personal aside, a personal note, is that this particular case only matters because the guys that killed him were white. That's the truth. Nobody can say that I'm lying. You could say, you can call me a name. You can call me a coon, Uncle Tom, sellout. Heard it all before. Come up with a new name. But what I'm saying is correct. If this were two black guys chasing them down, shooting them and killing them, nobody would care at all. You know how I know that? Because remember that story out of Flint, Michigan, a dollar store security guard that was shot and killed after he told a lady to put on her face mask? Do you remember that story? This is recently, probably about 3 or 4 days ago, maybe about a week ago. Now, when more information about that story was revealed, all of a sudden it went away. It wasn't really a big story, because before that, it was a really big story. Because people that were upset about it were upset because it was somebody trying to violate the quarantine or the social distancing, that they want to put on the face mask. They were being selfish. And then they had to go kill this man because he said, put on the face mask. These Trump supporters out there protesting at the Capitol in Michigan, they had something to do with it. But then once you figure out the real story, all that changed and the story just vanished into thin air. The real story is that a black security guard at a Dollar General, I think a dollar store, Dollar General in Flint, Michigan. So you know what time it is. Security guard at Dollar Store. You're in the hood. Anyway, a black man with not one, not two, not three, but 8 kids. Okay. 8 kids was working. All right. It's his job. He works as a security guard. Probably had a few jobs to take care of his family. Right. Anyway, he asked a black woman, hey, can you put on your face mask? Just doing his job, right? He probably even wasn't a guy that believed in the whole quarantine or social distancing and mask thing. He's just doing his job. She gets belligerent, starts to, tussle with him, spits in his face. She leaves the store, comes back with her son and her husband. Now, I'm not sure who had the pistol and pulled the trigger, but one of them gets into it, or they all get into it with the security guard, and security guard gets shot, killed. It's a GoFundMe right now, and shout out to everybody that's donated to that. I think they had a goal of like 10,000. It's almost like 400,000 last I checked, because this man got killed in cold blood because the woman was upset that he told her to put on the face mask. She came back like this is premeditated. This ain't like we get into a fight or a tussle at the moment and then somebody gets injured and dies. She went home, got her son and her husband to confront the guy, shot him and killed him. Okay. Does anybody care? Like, is that really, justice for X, Y, and Z person? That's not really no big deal, at least not among people that think the situation in Georgia is a big deal. So it's just weird. Like, I could do a story about somebody black being shot and killed every single day. All right. But those stories don't matter as much as when a white person does the killing. That's the truth. So anybody trying to tell me anything otherwise is just not being honest. It's simple as that. It ain't really nothing else to it. So I'll leave that there for now, but I'm going to move on with the rest of the show. And thank y'all for being here. Definitely appreciate you. If you like what you're hearing so far, give me a thumbs up on the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. I definitely appreciate you. And we got a whole lot of things going on. Let me get to some other stuff. That was kind of on my chest. I wanted to get it off. It was right here. I had to get that off for sure. Speaking of the black community, I'm going to stay on this for a little bit, not to the whole violence and the crazy killing. Miss Obama, has a documentary out today, matter of fact. I've not watched it. I may watch it because, that's kind of my job. I got to be aware of what's going on. I got to be aware of the news and what's happening. But it's a new documentary. coming out, or it's out right now today, called Becoming. Obviously, it's just like about her book by the same name called Becoming. And in the documentary, there is a portion, not sure how big it is, but there's a portion where it talks about the black community and how she's disappointed at how the black vote did not really show up in 2016, and also before that in midterm elections and whatnot, to vote for the Democrats. Now, I'm not sure what more she wants from us. What more does she want? Okay, you already got, or had, because that's changing, but I digress. You had the black vote at like what, 96% during your term, 95, greater than 90, maybe even greater than 95. Like in 2008, they had the black vote at like 95%. What more do you want? Oh, it's not enough of us coming out to vote. So although you pretty much got 100% all of the black vote, that's still not enough? And you blaming us for things not going right in the election? This is absurd. Maybe you get more of us to come out and vote. Maybe you would have more enthusiasm behind voting if you had a good candidate there, or if you had a good party, if you had things that black folks really needed and things that made more sense. Okay? You want to talk about gun violence and whatnot. Look at these urban inner city areas where Democrats rule. What are they doing for the black community there? Just putting people in danger, not allowing jobs to flourish with high taxes, high minimum wages. You're not doing a good job at your post. So why would we be so enthusiastic to come out and vote for you in the midterms and also during the general election? It doesn't make any sense. And you're going to put Hillary Clinton in there, the wife of the guy that had some inappropriate relations in the White House in the Oval Office, the guy that signed a 94 crime bill, locked plenty of black men up, is still locked up right now to this day, and Trump had to free him. Okay, this is the guy that you want? It doesn't make any sense. You friends with George W., the war hawk, WMDs in Iraq, that guy, the TSA, that guy. That's what you want to, where is the incentive for black folks to come out and vote for you? I really don't see it. You can't just tell me, oh, you're black, you got to vote for the Democratic Party. You got to be able to bring more to the table. It's simple as that. So don't blame us, and don't blame women, and don't blame any other group that you think you have a stranglehold on. Tighten up, do better. Then maybe you'll be able to have some success. But for right now, you're not really going to be able to get a whole lot accomplished. And it's not our fault at all. Don't blame us. Do not blame us. And it really ain't nothing else to it. But 2020 is going to be the same thing. If you're coming out and attacking this, like that ain't the way to get it done. The Democrats trying to hold on. They're trying to keep the black vote. They're trying to keep the nation, regain the nation. What they're doing right now is not going to actually work. You picking the worst possible guy, Joe Biden. I know he was able to win the black vote, but see, the thing is, they put all their eggs into the Joe Biden basket. They push all their chips to the table on Joe Biden's, hand. But see, the South Carolina primary was fool's gold. Black folks generally voted for Biden because they knew who he was already, due to being with Obama for 8 years in the White House. They love Obama, so they love Biden by proxy. Don't know anything about him, don't like the man too much, so they don't know the man, but they know him from Obama. That's fool's gold, because that's not sustainable. You see, the vote beyond the black vote is what you got to look at, because that will drive politics from here on out. And you're trying to pick this guy that got one foot in the grave. You got to look at who they really want. They want the Buttigieg. They want the Klobuchar. They want people that are not about to be 80 years old, one foot in the grave. Even though Pocahontas was popular, she's about 70 years old, not a spring chicken herself. But then again, like I said, Buttigieg, whatever his name is, he won the Iowa caucus. That had to count for something. You want to go from Buttigieg to Joe Biden? Where's a quote unquote minority vote? And the funniest part about this to me is that a lot of these gatekeepers in the Democratic Party will settle for less. I saw Charlamagne the God from Hot 97, black radio show host, talking about, oh, we got to have a black running mate. A black running mate? Like, you want to have a black sidekick? Like, is that necessary? Do you have to have that? What's the general? Like, we all know that the president is the guy. The vice president has an important role, don't get it twisted, but the president is the guy. So why is having a black running mate so essential? You think the president is going to pay them any mind? And then if you have a person that's just black and they don't really have any kind of other qualifications, they're not really going to be, really important anyway. So what's the purpose? It doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but it is what it is. Oh, let's talk about some of this virus stuff for a minute, because I got to get into this. I could talk about, Michelle Obama trying to blame us in the black community for, Hillary Clinton losing, although it was Hillary herself and the Democratic Party and their failed policies and their unfulfilled promises and their lack of marketing and not being aware of what's going on, no situational awareness. I could talk about all that, but let's talk about this thing with the virus right quick. Andrew Cuomo, governor of New York, came out and said that most of the new virus cases come from those that were quarantined at home. Matter of fact, hold on, let me see if I can find it right quick. I'm gonna pull it up. But yeah, he said that most of the new coronavirus cases are from people staying at home, not traveling or working. Matter of fact, I'm gonna put it up on the screen. This is from Forbes. Let me see if I can disable my ad blocker right quick just for this moment. And I'll show you. Okay. Here we go. It's on the screen right now. No, I don't want State Farm Insurance. Thank you very much. And you can see it right here. Majority of new coronavirus cases in New York are from people staying at home, not traveling or working. And it says New York Governor Andrew Cuomo shared initial survey results of hospitalized coronavirus patients during a Wednesday press conference, which said almost 70% of respondents were at home before being admitted, showing that the virus has continued to spread during lockdown, even as New York prepares for an eventual reopening. So, okay, if if 2/3 of those that are in the hospital for the virus were already quarantined at home, what are we doing? What are we doing? And the purpose of staying at home, social distancing, was to flatten the curve and to slow the spread, not to stop the spread or to stop the curve. And the point behind that was to not overwhelm the hospital system. All right. So if we did that and 2/3 of those that did that are still in the hospital, then what are we doing? If you look around the country, if you zoom out a little bit, look around the country, you got hospitals just going totally under, filing for bankruptcy. A lot of small rural hospitals are just closing up altogether because they don't have any traffic. They don't have anything to keep it afloat. You had 30,000 healthcare workers in Virginia that got laid off. And then Governor Blackface, when they come back talking about, we need 30,000 to come volunteer. Why not just reopen everything, stop stoking fear, stop this lockdown, and then they'll be able to come back and get paid to work? How about that? A novel idea, right? I know it's kind of hard for a guy with a Klan mask on in his yearbook picture to grasp that concept of, paid work and not slave labor, but that's a real thing, Northam, but I'll move on. So this article right here, it just kind of proves what I've been saying about all this stuff about staying home being ridiculous. Okay, so they got some key facts in the article. About 1,200 patients were surveyed from 113 hospitals over a 3-day period. Cuomo said, this is coming from Andrew Cuomo, the governor of New York, his office did not respond to a request for comment by Forbes. Of course not, because this whole thing has been, kind of an anti-Trump narrative. And then when they see the data and it says something else, now what are they going to say? Anyway, in addition to mostly coming from their homes, surveyed patients were more likely to be 51 years old or older and either non-essential workers, retired, or unemployed. So not working, at home, quarantined. It's simple. 96% of the surveyed patients had comorbidities, which means nearly all had another chronic keyword medical condition prior to catching coronavirus. You don't say. People that are in a hospital from quote unquote coronavirus happen to have something else, like, congestive heart failure, kidney disease, or something like that. You understand? You see where we're going? The survey also found that COVID-19 disproportionately affects African Americans, Hispanics living in the New York City area. Bad health styles, lifestyles, eating the wrong food. It's simple. It ain't really hard to tell what's going on. The New York survey appears to be unique in that it released reports on where patients came from before being hospitalized. Some of the survey's results on ethnicity and age appear to match a Centers for Disease Control study of hospitalized patients released April 8th, 2020, which showed that older people and African Americans were more likely to have COVID-19. Why? If you're old, you have a compromised immune system. You're not going to be able to fight off viruses as much as a young person. And then if you're African American, we already know what's going on there. What's my name? Jerome Adams, he said it himself, got on TV and said it. We're more likely to have heart disease, diabetes, high blood pressure. That comes from diet, nothing else. I mean, he said it was no genetic factor. Said that on TV. It's not a genetic factor. It's lifestyle. And then when he said, we got to stop drinking and drugging, do it for your mama, do it for your pop, do it for X, Y, and Z, then I was racist. But he was giving you the warning right there. It's simple. But hey, if I say something like that, then I must be, I must be selfish. I'm trying to kill grandmama, all this, that, and the third. It's crazy, but it is what it is. Yeah, so the main factors that a lot of black folks have, I see it right there: deep-centered field press, obesity, heart disease, drinking, drugging, diabetes. It's not hard to really understand what's going on. Yeah, it's all about diet. You can actually change that with a better diet. If it ain't genetic, like the doctor said, then what is it? It's the choices that we make, the food we put into our body that can change all that for us. But thank y'all for being here. Definitely appreciate you. If you like what you're hearing so far, give me a thumbs up on the video, share the video, do all that good stuff for me. I'd appreciate it. All right. Now, I'm saying this about Fauci. Meow Mix says, look up Fauci. He gave Wuhan Lab millions of dollars, taxpayer dollars in Newsweek. I think I've seen that before already. Did Trump just sign a new stimulus package? I've not heard about that. I have not heard about this new stimulus package being signed. All I know is that the first one came in and I got my money already. And when I say my money, I mean that literally I got my money already because it's taxpayer money, which I pay taxes. So I got my money already. I think that we need to stop all this stimulus stuff. Just get the economy. Stop everything. No distancing, no shutdown or lockdown, because it ain't making the difference. New York has a total shutdown, social distancing, to the point where if you're not distancing, you can get arrested, you can get locked up, but they'll free you from the penitentiary or from jail if you are in danger of getting the virus, if you were not in there as a result of the virus, I guess. California, I think it's San Diego or somewhere over there. I'll talk about that area in a minute, but one guy is a sex offender. Got released because of my COVID-19. I don't want to catch COVID-19. Okay. He gets released and shows his thingamabobber to the parole officer. I'm talking about in the parole office, he pulls it out on the officer. This guy does not need to be out of jail. You could do that and get out of jail, right? You could be a non-redeemable, unreformable, non-rehabable, if that's the word, sex offender and get released from the penitentiary because of COVID-19, but let you be a hairstylist. They had, I don't know if I said it last time, they did a sting operation on 2 girls, young ladies, for doing hair in their house. Hair. It's like, really? So for doing some finger waves and some bangs and stuff like that in my house, that always was going on when I was a kid. And I'd be at my grandma's house. It'd be my aunt over there doing my cousin's hair and, my friend's hair. And my other cousin would cut hair. My male cousin would be in the kitchen cutting hair. Why is that a thing that you have to have a sting operation? They had an undercover officer to bust them and arrest them for doing hair in their house. A thing that we've all seen throughout our whole lives, right? Whether it's somebody that you know or like a friend that you, like a hairstylist, or whoever, your sister, brother, mother, whatever, that's normal. They got locked up for that. But let's say you want to go paddleboarding and all that, you get locked up. But if you're in jail for violent robbery with a pistol, you got a crazy track record, a crazy criminal history, you get out. Tekashi 6ix9ine put a hit on a guy on camera. on camera, I'll give you X amount of money to kill this dude. He gets out of jail after a year. Oh, COVID-19, ridiculous. Has anybody died in jail from the virus? I just want to know. I've not heard about that happening at all. Have you? You guys let me know what's going on with that, as I've not heard that. Yep, and I saw that, I can't see your name, Motor Love. I saw that, the story in Texas, also in Texas, not the one that was in with the two young ladies with the sting operation with the undercover cop. One lady had a salon and she opened it against, I guess, the rule for quote unquote non-essential business. And by the way, like I said on my Instagram page, and if you've not been able to follow that, just go ahead and follow me on my Instagram, instagram.com/Anthony B. Logan. But like I said there, any job that puts food on the table is an essential job. That's just what it is. And shout out to patriotpost.us for the meme, the good guys over there. But that's what it is. Every job that puts food on the table is an essential job. Now, speaking about the lady that got locked up, I think for a week over opening her salon, here's what happened. You have this this rule against quote unquote non-essential businesses being able to open up. She says, you know what? I'm losing money. The girls in the shop that do hair, they're losing money. They got kids to feed and can't do it. They got bills to pay and can't pay them. So I'm going to open my shop. Now, she gets locked up for this. The judge was trying to embarrass her, talking about, oh, okay, look, this is what I'm going to do. I'll let you go free with no jail time, but you got to admit that you were wrong, apologize, and then say you were selfish. But she refused, and I don't blame her. Thank her for standing up against this nut job judge with a mask on. The judge had a mask on and wasn't somebody even in the courtroom. It's like, what are you doing, sir? How about you stay home or just put your gavel down and let somebody else do it if you're going to be a coward like that? But anyway, he says all of that. She's like, no, I'm not going to apologize. I didn't do anything wrong. I'm not being selfish because it's not about me just trying to make money. I got kids. The girls in my shop got kids and they got to eat, you know. And if you are a hair salon owner, and also if you work at a hair salon, you're not really going to get unemployment because the way that most hair salons and barbershops work, if you don't know, a person will own the space, right? They might do hair in the space, maybe. I know this because I worked with a hair salon before for many years. You can look them up right now, Color U Cosmetics. Spell color with a U and then put U in the middle, Color U Cosmetics. I worked with them for about 10 years when I was a graphic designer. I've been in the salons, I've been in barbershops, I know how it is. The salon owner will run the shop. They might be in there doing hair themselves. And the girls that work there got to pay booth rent. Okay. So they're paying for the privilege to work there. They're not necessarily employees. Unless you go to like a Supercuts or something like that, some kind of franchise location where they hire people to work there. That's not the way it is in most of these shops, especially some of the hood shops. It's not like that. You pay booth rent. Same thing at the barbershop. You're not an employee. You're a subcontractor, essentially. So if you're not working, you're not getting unemployment. You're not going to get any kind of relief for yourself. You're pretty much going to be out back, starving, trying to figure out how you're going to eat. Same thing with the salon owner. So she opened a shop back up to get more money coming in to the girls that work there to feed their kids and to feed her kids as well. And for that, she got arrested and locked up for a week over that. Now, I saw a letter from the Texas Attorney General, if I'm not mistaken, that was favorable to her. It was a letter on her behalf. If I could find that, I'll place it on the screen. But shout out to her because that whole thing was crazy. And people don't really understand that. They're talking about, oh, we got to just keep shut down. Anybody that says we got to keep shut down has no real. The only reason they say that is because they're afraid and because they're parroting what the mainstream media are telling them. They don't really know why. Because when I get down to it, I say, well, why should we stay closed? I say, do you have a reason? And they're like, oh, I obey the experts. So, but I mean, the question was not who told you this or who you believe. The question is, why should we stay shut down? Because they don't really understand the virus ain't going to go away. You can stay closed until June, July, August. The virus ain't going nowhere. Same thing with the common cold. Same thing with the flu. SARS ain't gone nowhere. MERS ain't gone nowhere. These things are still around. They're just less prevalent, but it ain't going to go nowhere. And this thing is a coronavirus, right? So is a common cold. Is there a cure for the common cold? How long has that been around? So you think that we're going to wait, shut down until we get a vaccine? If there is a vaccine, is it going to be effective? There are new strains of the virus that keep coming out. They said there's another one that's even more deadly than this one. So, I mean, if you get a vaccine, it'd be for the first one. And that might not be for a couple of years at the least. Probably not ever, really, because like I said, the common cold, coronavirus, where's the cure? Where's the vaccine? It ain't none. And it ain't going to be none for this one either. You can stay in the house till you just die. But people that have to live life and got to work, they can't afford to do that. And people are starting to come around. I've seen tweets from people that were one way at the beginning, like in March. They were saying, ABL, you got to just stay shut down, man. This is crazy. And now they're starting to see what I saw. I saw all from the beginning. I knew this would happen because I've been in business for a long time. I understand the way business works and the way that an economy is linked to being able to go out there and do business. It's simple. But it is what it is. Yeah, no trial. The judge was the judge was the the judge, jury, and executioner in the case in Texas with this lawn owner went to jail. So it's crazy. I spoke about that earlier, Martin, about the guy that was gunned down. That was my first topic, actually, right around 8 o'clock. But I'll probably talk about that a little bit more as we get calls in at about 9 o'clock. So I'm going to talk a little bit about other things right now. Let me see. Okay, I'm reading this right here from Paul J. It says, Dallas, Texas, Kelly Luther, crazy temper Obama judge, pulled a gun on a driver from his own road rage. Judge gave Kelly 7 days only because she didn't apologize. We're protesting judge's house right now. Hold on. Wait a minute. So the same judge in the case of the other judge that had the road rage incident was doing the whole the salon thing. He's the guy that was responsible for the salon thing, talking about apologize and said I'm selfish, all this and that and the third. What was the result of the road rage case? What did the person get for doing that? For brandishing the pistol because of road rage? What did they get for that? Or was it the same guy that pulled the pistol that was a judge in this case? Thank you, Jerry. I appreciate it. I'm glad you enjoyed the videos. Oh, okay. Now, I saw that one on Roger Wood. That's a good question. Roger Wood asked me, what's up with that Pennsylvania scientist working on the Modelo virus getting getting killed this week? Now, I saw that. Now, if you guys have not heard about that, there was a scientist in, Pennsylvania working on COVID-19. They said he was close to a breakthrough as it relates to the virus. Not sure what that means. I don't really know exactly what he did or what his field of expertise was as it relates. I mean, it could have been talking about vaccines or testing or mapping it. I don't know what he was doing specifically with the virus, but they said he was close to a breakthrough with the virus. And he was killed in an apparent murder-suicide recently. Now, they said that the person killed him in his home, went to their car, and then killed themselves. Now, there's a lot to this because the guy was Chinese. The guy that got killed was Chinese. So that could have been anything. I don't know. I mean, that could have been so much because, okay, the first thing is he got hit, right? It was a setup. He got hit. He was doing too much with the virus. You're thinking about like Hillary Clinton style hit. But that kind of gets complicated because the guy that did it killed themselves, allegedly. Because, okay, here's something else. It could have been kind of an elaborate thing where the guy goes into the house, kills him per the hit request, and then comes out to the car and gets killed because they think that the guy might snitch or to clear up any kind of loose ends. I don't know. I'm just making up stuff. But all I do know is that the authorities said it was a murder-suicide. The guy got killed in his house, and then the other guy, who was the suspect in the case, got into the car and then killed himself. And they knew each other, not really sure what they had between each other, if they were in a relationship, if they were just friends or whatever the case may be. But that's fishy to say the least. If there was any kind of foul play involved beyond the murder-suicide or, like a greater scheme behind it, I wouldn't be surprised at all. But that may or may not be true. I don't have information to corroborate that, so I can't really speculate. I can only speculate. I can't give you facts on that. But it's definitely something to be thinking about for sure. Yeah, was it a suicide note there? Okay. So that's what they're saying. It was a suicide note with the other guy. Let me see. Angela says, funny how the police immediately stated it had nothing to do with his work on the virus. You're right. Exactly. I mean, it very well could have. It's really coincidental. Chinese guy in America working on the virus and, coming to a breakthrough. And he gets killed. The wrinkle in it is that the guy that allegedly did it is dead too. Did he kill himself or did somebody kill him? If they killed him, why didn't they just do the hit in the room? I don't really know what happened, but it is what it is. Templar Bear says, I haven't seen verification, but I've seen Fauci was involved in the NIH money to Wuhan lab. I've been hearing about that a lot. Shout out to Bobby Kennedy Jr. Oh man, if you've not seen his interview on Valuetainment with my man Patrick Bet-David, you got to see it because that right there was just fantastic. He broke down all the stuff. He broke down everything about the virus and the vaccines and everything. He broke it down all the way, not in a partisan way, just in the real way. Okay, he spoke about Fauci. One thing he said about Fauci that was dead on point and nobody can deny it is that Fauci only knows what he knows. He may be an expert on pandemics and viruses, allegedly. Well, let's say he is. I'm going to be nice. Let's say he is. He's an expert on pandemics and viruses, but not about how to run the country. So Fauci is saying, okay, we got to shut everything down, slow the spread, all this, that, and the third. He's not thinking about the impact that's going to have on society. Because look at what's happening right now with the country. Okay, you're not thinking about the impact of what you're doing on society. Same thing with Burks and everybody else that says stay home. They don't understand that, but I knew it from the beginning. I saw this whole thing coming. You can't just not have economy and have there be no drastic results. You're talking about the airline industry shutting down. I mean, the whole world has felt this. Food shortages already. I saw that Wendy's is going to not have burgers at some spots. I'm going to say that one more time if you didn't hear me. Wendy's, the fast food joint that sells burgers, will not have burgers at some spots because there's a beef shortage already. It took, about 2 months, a month and a half for that to happen because of the supply chain. You got some spots shutting down voluntarily, some spots shutting down because there was a virus outbreak. Talking about the processing centers. So the farms have nowhere to send. They can't send their actual products anywhere. They can't send their beef and their cows and their chickens and everything else to the plants to get processed. It's the supply chain is broken. So you're going to have less supply of food on the shelves. That's going to cause a famine worldwide. You're talking about millions that are going to die of starvation, possibly, or become very hungry. All right. That does not really seem to be an important factor in some people's minds. They just think about themselves and how scared they are because what the media has told them. Stay home, slow the spread, flatten the curve. Ridiculous, moronic statements that have long since been obsolete because that curve been flat for about the past month. You understand? But I digress. Thank y'all for being here. Definitely appreciate you. If you like what you're hearing so far, give me a thumbs up on the video, like the video. Also, share the video. And if you are not subscribed, go ahead and do that. Also, visit the website, anthonyblogan.com. That is ANTHONY, the letter B. Don't get offended by this, LOGAN.com. All right, super chats in the building. I'm going to read some of these right quick, and then I'm going to get to my next points. You guys have been great so far. Thank y'all for being here. Shout out to Charles Turner Jr. who says, ABL, did you see Outnumber overtime on Monday? Harris Faulkner had on Lawrence Jones and Richard Goodstein, who worked for the Clintons. It was great. Harris and Lawrence wrecked Richard Goodstein. I've not seen that, but I got to go ahead and watch it. Thank you for your donation. Shout out to Brother Moses who says, AB392, an evading suspect is not grounds for deadly force. Well, see, we got to figure out what's going on. Evading suspect, that's not something that a civilian would use, would they? I don't really know, but we'll see what happens with that. Thank you for that, man. Definitely appreciate you. Shout out to Regina, who says, great merch store, ABL. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I need to add more merch on there. I do everything. I record the videos, edit the videos. I do the live show. I design the merch. I write all the website articles. So I write about 90% of the website articles. So I do a lot, but I'm gonna get some more merch out to you guys ASAP. Shout out to Leo, who says, just a donation. Thank you for that. Thank you to Nature Boy Alfie, who says, ABL always speaking the truth. Thank you for your donation and your very kind words, man. Definitely appreciate you. Thank you to Stacy. I'm going to get it right this time, Stacy. Stacy Felice, who says, everyone is unnecessarily paranoid and scared due to the mask and stay-at-home mandates. We flatten the curve, even in New York. Set us free. Very good point, and thank you for that. I definitely appreciate you. Oh, that's a great segue into my point about the masks. The masks are really unimportant, and really, they're actually kind of dangerous because if you're wearing the mask, you're not breathing properly. When you breathe normally, you breathe in oxygen and you breathe out, what's that called? CO2, right? And when you, or what's that? Carbon something. You're breathing out, not oxygen, okay? You can't keep breathing in what you're breathing out. That's going to cause you to have a lot of problems. I said it before in my last video. A lady had her mask on, the N92 mask, in her car while she was driving and got dizzy, passed out, crashed her car into a pole, could have died, right? Thank God she did not die. So the mask did not help her. It actually almost killed her. And they say that a mask will still have you get the virus. Like, you can still get the virus with the mask on. All that a mask does is potentially protect you from, how can I say, from getting it for somebody else, potentially. But here's the thing about it. Thank you. Carbon dioxide, that's right. Now, here's the thing. If you have on the mask in a Walmart, right, and you're doing your 6 feet apart, all this, that, and the third, somebody's in front of you in the self-checkout line using the keypad at checkout. You have your items and go straight to that same keypad and use it. So whatever they had on their hands, you got on your hands too. If they had on gloves, you got it on your hands. If you got on gloves, they got on gloves, you got it on your gloves. And you go to the car, you put your gloves on the steering wheel, now it's on your steering wheel, now it's in your whole car. Now it could potentially be airborne and jump to whoever. So this whole thing is stupid. It doesn't make any sense. Then if you're in the house, you are also not breathing properly because you got all kind of toxins and mold and stuff in your house. You know, people got roaches in their house. They got rats sometimes. I mean, it's not uncommon to have roaches sometimes. Like if you're in New York, that's not uncommon. So you got all these disease and pathogen carrying rodents, insects in your home, mold, dust, all kind of things from just your house where you live at. It's going to be dust. It's going to be mold to a certain extent. If you're living in a high moisture area, it's going to be mold. You're breathing all that in. I mean, that's not how you kill it. They're putting UV lamps in the subway in New York to kill the virus, but they're telling you to stay inside. So if they're going to bring light from outside inside, then they tell you to stay inside to kill the virus. How does it make any sense? It does not make any sense. It is what it is. So the mask is not something that I would wear. I thought about putting masks on my store, but then I was like, I'm not going to wear a mask, so I'm not going to put it on my store. I know some guys need it, some girls need it because it's required, but no, because I'm not going to wear it. I've not worn a mask or gloves. When the whole thing popped, I was traveling. I was on the plane in LA. Everybody had on masks. Everybody had on gloves. I had nothing. I did what I do normally, go to the bathroom, wash my hands, and I'm hygienic. That's it. And I'm just fine. I didn't die. That's all. All right. But thank you to Stacy Felice for your donation. And shout out to Moto Love 1968 who says all jobs are essential. That's right. All jobs are essential. If you got a job, it puts food on the table, it provides for yourself and your family, it is essential. Without a job, how are you going to do these things? The left don't understand this. They don't understand that if nobody works, then nobody's going to be able to, like, you got to have people working and being out there, participating in the economy, going to restaurants, going to movie theaters, traveling, doing things to keep the whole economy flowing. If you don't, then the economy that's linked together starts to break apart and you see problems arising in other areas. Okay. So like the whole thing about the meat shortage is because of people not going to restaurants. Okay. If you're not going to restaurants, if you're not going to fast food, the demand for meat is down. It's less production. And then people say, okay, let's shut down some of these processing plants. So if it ain't no processing plant, you can't get the meat from A to B. From the farm to the plant to the store, that supply chain is broken. People don't understand how that whole thing works, but I'll move on. Yeah, that's right, old lady fish. Old lady fish says your face mask is meant to stop you from breathing and spit it on people around you. Exactly, so you don't spread it to others. It gives you a false sense of security or protection, rather. In fact, it can hurt you. That's 100% right. And your masks become less viable 10 minutes later. After you had it on, you got oil in your face. That's permeating your mask. You touching your face. All that's going on. It's, blocking you from being able to breathe. People wear it like this. They wear it under their nose because they can't breathe in the mask. You still got to be able to breathe. I mean, you want to stay safe. How about being able to breathe oxygen? How about that? Shout out to Devil's Advocate. Shout out to you, man. Thank you for being here. Who says, hey, man, I watched that video. I'm sorry about those guys. Need to go to jail and stay there. Trey Gotti was right. He didn't even need the video. The original story made 0 sense. Hey, I mean, let's see how it plays out. I'm with it. Let's see how it plays out. But I never really just make snap judgments like that because I feel like there's always some new information that comes out and people got to go back and retract their statement. Not saying it will be in this case, but I want to see all the information come out and then I'll do a video and be like, okay, this is what it is. So I can be factual, so I can be correct and not just reacting emotionally. But thank you for that, man. Definitely appreciate you. Shout out to Frey Puppy who says, stay strong, ABL, speak for the people. Most certainly will do, man. Thank you for your donation. I definitely appreciate you. Thank you to Devil's Advocate who says, I'd love to hear your thoughts about what normal looks like going forward after this. What about what we've justified during this period? That's a very good question. It's like, I feel like this would be a thing that's different depending upon where you live in the country. And some things will be the same nationally. I think airlines are going to be way different, at least for a while, because people are going to be scared to fly. And if you're on a plane with people in the tube, how can you actually socially distance? If you sit, like, let's say I'm on a plane, right? I sit in the window seat and there's a space beside me with nobody at. And then the other guy's in the window seat as well. So it's like a big distance between me. I mean, why does it matter if we're still in the same tube for a 5-hour flight? It doesn't make any sense. You're going to the bathroom. It's a compacted space. So I go in there, use the bathroom, do whatever I got to do. You go in there right next to me, right after me. Then you're still going to be in the same space where I was. I'm breathing in there and everything else. And they say you got to wear a face mask. Okay, I got to wear a face mask. But if the plane loses pressure in the cabin, I got to put on the mask to breathe. So then I got to unhook that and then put that one on. So the planes are going to be an issue nationally, but locally, some spots are not going to do any of the regulations at all. Small rural areas not going to do it. You're not going to be able to go in there and enforce it. The police want to enforce it. People want to enforce it. But in big cities, it might be a little bit different. You got the task force in New York that are trying to, quote unquote, enforce social distancing. So big cities is going to be different for a while. Small towns, back to normal. Where I live right now, I'm in kind of a small city and it's jumping already. We're not doing the stay 6 feet apart. We're not doing that. Some people wearing their masks still, but that'll be gone after a while. Once it gets hot, like it's already like 80 degrees some days. Once it get to be like, 80, 90, 100 degrees, that'll go away because you're going to be sweating in your mask. You can't be able to breathe. It's humid down here too. It's hard to breathe already because you got pollen in the air, allergy season is going on, and it's going to start to get humid. You're going to be outside not being able to breathe. The mask's not going to stay on throughout the summer. So small towns, back to normal soon. Big cities, I don't know. Shout out to Jonestown Autopsy who says, Battle of the First Lady Showdown. Press 1 for Melania, press 2 for Big Mike. Thank you for that, man. Definitely appreciate it. Shout out to Ansel who says, this is for the purchase of a You Have to Go Back size small premium tea. Ship it to Micho A and spend the balance on lunch for you and T-Pain. And thank you for that, man. Definitely appreciate it. But YouTube takes the majority. YouTube takes 30% of that. So I'm gonna try. I gotta do the math and see if I got enough. But I should have enough, man. Thank you for that, man. I appreciate you. And shout out to Mike from Queens who says, have you seen the interview on Dr. Mikovich? I've not seen that yet, but I keep hearing about it. Everybody tell me, man, watch that interview. but I've not seen it. I've seen the interview with the two doctors in California, Erickson and the other guy, I forget his name. I've seen Bobby Kennedy Jr. I've seen quite a few things. I've already interviewed Dr. Shiva twice on the channel, and I've met him in person, so I know where he stands on the whole thing, because he was saying the same thing last time when we did an interview about measles and stuff. So I know where he stands, but I got to see her interview next for sure. Because wasn't she on the AIDS project with Fauci? I got to watch that 100%. But thank y'all for being here. You guys are great. If you like what you're hearing so far, give me a thumbs up on the video, share the video. And if you are not subscribed yet, go ahead and do that for me. That'll help me out a whole lot. And when you do subscribe, click the bell. If you do that, you get notified when I go live and or post a new video. All right. That's right, Bernadette. Fauci is not an economist. Fauci is just a disease guy. He should not be the one that's in charge of leading the nation. And one thing I got to say is that the president and the squad gave out guidelines. That's what it should be. Guidelines, not requirements, mandates that are to be enforced arbitrarily by each individual state, which is what it has been. Because where I live, we ain't doing none of that. This whole step down approach. The only thing that's happening right now is that some restaurants in the city are not open. But once you go out to, well, they're open, but you can't sit there. Once you leave the city, go to the county where I was over the weekend, then it's all right. You can stay in there, but it's like less capacity. They have to lift the capacity limit in restaurants because there's an actual business model written down in the business plan on how they're going to make money. If you reduce capacity by 50%, you're going to have that much less people in there paying for food at any point in time. And you're going to have less tips, which means less wait staff. It creates a whole problem. And if you have less revenue, you're not going to be able to meet the rent that is based on the previous revenue. And what's going to happen is this. You're going to have a lot of the companies that are or people that own these shopping centers, buildings or whatever that are going to have problems paying the mortgage. Forbearance is not going to help because that won't reduce your payments or your interest rate or anything like that. You still owe the same amount of money and the same interest rate, and you're not going to be able to meet it really because you're not getting the rents from your tenants. If you are getting your rents from your tenants, then they are paying much more or the bottom line towards rents. They can go into debt, obviously, and they're not going to be able to get out of it because they're going to have that capacity for a long time. The money that they make will not be what they made before because of the limited capacity in their restaurant. So this whole thing of distancing has got to go because you're killing businesses with this model. It's not a sustainable thing. The point was to not overwhelm the system. That's been accomplished. Let's move on, get back to normal. But speaking of getting back to a particular thing, let's get to the calls. And you guys are a fantastic crowd. I look forward to the calls all the time. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. The Georgia incident, we'll probably talk about that from the calls. If you want to call in and ask me about it, we could talk about it. And let's go ahead and get into it. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Let me start my Skype right quick to get the phone lines open. I spoke about Georgia earlier in the stream, but we'll talk about it again, I guess, in a little bit as we get into the calls. Shout out to Ansel who says 30% of 60 is 18. Here's another 25. Stop busting my ball. I got you, man. Thank you for that. All right, let's get to the first call. 805 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Yeah, this is Eric from Pismo Beach. How you doing, ABL?
Everything's good, man. About yourself?
Oh, pretty good. I'm just watching you live, man. This is awesome.
Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate it. What's on your mind?
Well, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the filmmaker Michael Moore. I don't know if you know that he, 2 weeks ago, released a film on the internet, kind of in the middle of all this pandemic stuff, and he kind of dropped a bomb on the environmental crowd. Oh, no, I didn't say anything about it. Yeah, so it's on YouTube. It's for free. You can watch it. And basically, I'm not going to tell you the name of it, but you can Google it. But basically, the premise is that all this environmental stuff that's been going on, what it's basically doing is it's generating a bunch of money for these corporations and politicians, and it's not doing what it's supposed to do, which is, it's really just supposed to shut things down. And I think what they're doing is they're changing the progressive meme, and they're turning it into a regressive meme, where they're basically flipping things around. They want us to tone down our consumption, which is kind of antithetical to what Michael Moore is saying when he talks to people about, living wages and stuff. Well, if you're going to have a living wage and you don't want us to buy anything, what are we supposed to do with the wage? So anyway, I just want to know what your thoughts were on it. Well, obviously you don't have anything yet, but if you could maybe watch the video and maybe in a week or so comment on it or something. And I'd like to know your thoughts on the environmental movement.
Now, okay, I've seen a thing going around all over the internet, so I've not had time to watch it. Does it start with a plan and end with a demic?
Yeah, well, it starts with a plan. Yeah, ends with a human.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna check it out. But yeah, now a lot of stuff that is going on is just, I think it's a lot of media hysteria, hiding a lot of facts. I saw something from CBS where they were staging something with the virus to get a good story. I mean, I don't really believe anything I see in the media anymore. Nothing. I don't care what station it is. I don't care if it's Fox, China News Network, wherever. I don't believe anything. So I'm going to check out what he has, and I wouldn't be surprised if what was in the documentary were true.
Right on. Excellent. Yeah, it just seems like I don't know what it is that they want us to do, because if we stop consuming, I think we're going to cease to have the United States of America, because we're a consumer-based nation, just like all the other nations, but us even more so, because we innovate and we create new product, and we try to sell it at a fair price so that everybody has access to it. And people aren't interested in it, it doesn't sell. And just like your merchandise, by the way, I wanted to say, you need to make a paperweight that is shaped just like your three-dimensional ABL object on your video when you first start out, man. That would be awesome.
Okay, I'll look into that for sure.
All right, man. Hey, I appreciate you taking your time, talk to me. It's my first time. My wife and I, we love you. We think you're great. And I'll talk to you soon. Thank you.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate it.
All right. Bye.
All right. Shout out to the caller. Yeah. So that whole documentary thing starts with a plan, ends with a demic. I think I'm going to check it out. Or the one he's talking about, if it's not the same one that I'm thinking in my mind. All right. Let's go ahead and get to the next call. The number to call, like I said, 434-658-1220. 585, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to? Caller, can you hear me?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right. I got a little bit of feedback in the background. Can you turn your speakers down for me?
No, it's already done.
All righty. All righty. What's going on?
Hey, ABL. I was talking about, did you hear about Trump's mining on the moon?
Mining on the moon?
Mining on the moon. I'm sorry, I'm going to take you off a little bit of what's been going on with this old COVID-19, but it's mining on the moon. So, Trump's not a dummy. Yeah, he understands that his uncle was actually in contact with notes from Nikola Tesla. I mean, this man is not a dummy. And so I know I'm opening up a can of worms here, but
are you there? I'm listening to you.
Yeah, I'm here, but you need to. Actually, Trump was friends with JFK Jr., but his father was actually, of course, that got the whole moon trip going on. And so what I'm trying to say is, why is it now that Trump is talking about mining on the moon? If we went to the moon back in the 1960s, boy, I'm telling you, they've been mining the sea, mining the desert, mining in the mountains. If actually we were able to go to the moon, this thing would have been already established. we already would have resorts that you can go for $1 million and you can take your honey to the moon. But all of a sudden now, so why do we have to reinvent the wheel?
I don't know.
Already have the thing. Go ahead.
I don't know. I don't really know. I mean, I'm not really sure what the motivation is.
Exactly. The motivation is that if we were able to go there 40 years ago, this stuff, mining and all that, resorts and all that stuff, would have already have taken place. Why do we have to reinvent the wheel? I could take a 1912 car, and I can still drive across the country with it, with today's technology. I mean, why do we have to reinvent the wheel? Why we got to find these new rockets and to go to the moon? It's already been done.
Well, I mean, that's kind of up for debate. Some say we didn't go to the moon, and then the thing is, if we did go to the moon, then what did we do there? We didn't really do much there. Maybe there's a real reason. I don't really know. I mean, that's a good question to ask somebody that knows a little bit more than me.
Yeah, that's why I say. That's why I'm opening up a whole can of worms, because that's not like for this particular type of show. I need to be on late night, after midnight type of show. But I'm just saying, because he already said that he already opened up this whole space exploratory branch of the government. And so I think Trump is trolling. He's trying to open it up and let us know what we can and cannot do, what has been done and hasn't been done, and the truth. Because that's all we want as American people is the truth. If we can, we can. If we can't, we can't. But if we can't, let's find out if we can.
All righty. Well, thank you for your call. Definitely appreciate it.
All right, ABL. Thank you.
All right, no problem.
All right.
Shout out to the caller. I was kind of lost. I ain't gonna lie, but thank y'all for being here. You guys are great. I appreciate everything. Hey, if you can go on that moon and get some of that good that a new type of energy or something like that. I don't know. I'm just making up stuff now. But let's get to my next call. That's going to be all right. Caller, you on the line 647. Who am I speaking to?
Hello.
Yes.
Dr. Logan.
Yes.
Dr. Logan, you still your crazy statements.
What did I say wrong this time?
Those are help you to make money.
What did I say wrong this time?
You talk about Dr. Fauci. He said that he's not an expert in economy. Of course, he's not an economist. He's a scientist.
Okay.
He's going to give the best advice to the president from the scientist standpoint. That's what the president has an economic team. They're supposed to deal with that. The economic team is not doing anything that is possible to deal with this problem.
So what can they do?
Well, in my opinion, this is my opinion. Why don't give the money to the states, the billions of dollars to, first of all, the package was too small. Give the billions of dollars to the states, $7 trillion from the government, to different states. For example, the states that have more problems like New York, New Jersey, Massachusetts, Chicago, Pennsylvania, that have more infections. You want to give more relief so business owners could remain closed for now until the infections go down.
So the question is, wait. The question is, how long are they going to stay closed? Because that will determine how much money is getting. Wait. I'm not done, sir.
Okay.
And done with the question. How long will they stay closed? Because that will determine how much money they get. Because you can't just stay sir, can I talk? Can I talk on my show? I'm gonna go ahead and talk. It's my show. I'm going to talk. You're going to shut up. Now the question was, how long will they stay closed? Because it's got to be a set amount of time, because the money that they get will be dependent upon how long they stay closed. You can't just say, well, forever, because there will always be constant money given, and then how can you put a date on it, because you don't know when it's going to be a vaccine or anything like that. It might not be a vaccine. They may try to develop a vaccine and it might not happen. Just like the same thing with the common cold. Ain't no vaccine for the common cold. They got a vaccine for the flu, but it's only 40% effective. And there's new strains of the flu that are resistant to the actual vaccine. So how do you handle that?
You keep talking over me.
It's my show. I can do that. How about that?
Yeah, but
it's your own show and you can do it too. So
that's not a. That's not.
so
a
the
way
question
to,
was the
an
question was asked. Now you can answer it.
Oh, the question is okay. So depends of the they got phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4 from the federal government, right? So
The question again. The question was, how long will they stay closed? And if you don't know how long they're going to stay closed, how you can give them any kind of money?
because they could give you the money in base of risk. If you have a huge amount of infections every day, the X amount of mortality, they're gonna say, well, we cannot open a beauty salon, we cannot open movie theater, we cannot open restaurant, we cannot open these things. We cannot have people, certain workers, certain employees ride the train because it's gonna have a spike of infection versus where you live in Tennessee, in the small towns where nobody goes there. Who goes to Tennessee? So you could open in Tennessee, in Alabama.
Sir, wait. Let's pause. Let's pause for a minute. This is a town that's like right in between Atlanta, Nashville. It's a million in the metro area. This is not like podunk nowhere. Okay, and Nashville is a big place. Everybody goes there. Country Music Hall of Fame. You got a football team and the whole thing. Basketball team in Memphis. It ain't no little small. I'm only about an hour and a half from Atlanta. You got all kind of stuff there, so don't do that. And then beyond that, the question I asked you has not been answered, which was how long are they going to stay closed? You can't just say, oh, let's do phases, this, that, and the third. You got to say how long they're going to be closed. I mean, that's just simple because that will determine how much money they get. Because if there's no determined date upon which you're going to fully open, then you don't know how much money you're going to be able to get. You write them a blank check, basically. That'll be what happens.
Well, depends on the amount of infections that go down. Like again, so you think that Alabama and New York should open at the same time?
Well, why not?
Because the level of infection in New York is higher than Alabama. Obviously, if you have a higher infection in one place, you cannot open in a higher infection.
I read an article.
Infection in another place.
I read an article today from Forbes. Cuomo put some numbers out. This is coming straight from the governor of New York.
Okay.
He says that 2/3 of those that are in the hospital right now with COVID were already under quarantine, and they're older people, 51 or over. And 96% had, already chronic pre-existing conditions. So wait a minute. The question, as I talk, and you're not going to talk, the question is, with all that being on about New York, what's the point of continuing to staying locked down for them? It didn't work, obviously, since 2/3 of those that were locked down still got it, and they went to the hospital, and almost 100% of them had comorbidities going on. So what are we doing? What's the purpose?
The purpose is because the infections are going down. We don't have overwhelming hospital. Again, I'm going to repeat it one more time.
Okay, so the question was, since we had people that are in the hospital right now, 2/3 of those were under quarantine. What's the point of doing the quarantine? If they were sheltering in place, not going outside, and they still got it so much that they go to the hospital, obviously this whole stay-at-home thing ain't working.
Can you compare New Mexico that have less infections? Can you compare a small town in Tennessee, Alabama with New York City?
Why not?
Can you compare them?
Why not?
How can you not compare
The
them?
question was, why not?
Because people taking transportation in New York City, over 2 million people ride the train every day.
So what?
The infection is going to spike. Versus how many people ride the bus
listen. Like you didn't hear what I said. You didn't hear what I said. And if you're talking, nobody can hear you. You didn't hear what I said. Even with staying at home, social distancing, 2/3 of people in the hospital for the virus in New York State still got it. So obviously it didn't work, did it?
It did work.
I can't tell.
Went down.
Huh?
Infections went down.
But still, people, 2/3 of those that got it were under the whole stay-at-home thing.
But of course, the infection is going to pass on. But if we decided to go back to normal, you know how many people will be infected?
You tell me, how many?
Millions.
Millions, huh? Is that like where'd you get that from?
So where'd
you get that from?
People were infected.
Sir, where'd you get the number?
You got it?
Sir, I'm asking you a question and you can't talk over me. You're muted right now and nobody can hear you. The question was, where'd you get the number millions from? Where'd you get that from, sir? Where'd you get it from?
How many were infected?
Sir, I'm gonna give you one last chance and then I get to my next call. Where'd you get millions from?
That's what you do. You can't
Have a nice day. All right, let's get to the next call. Let's go 609, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
This is Toya. I'm so glad that I got through. I just want to mention one thing. There's so much stuff that I want to talk about, but the other day I seen a video of a doctor unknown that I never seen before, and he was saying that he's working in a ward somewhere, I think in New York, and the issue is that he's saying that the patients that are there are demonstrating signs like they're at high altitudes, like they're losing oxygen slowly. And he says that their lungs are actually fine and the respirators are killing them or something like that along those lines. So he said as a doctor, and this is what he does consistently, that he never seen, a person look or have, side effects like they're climbing Mount Everest when they're sitting, in the hospital room. And he doesn't understand why. He's never seen it before, and nobody's like really getting a hold of his video or anything like that, because I only seen it yesterday, but it said it was from April the 7th. So I'm like, oh yeah, he also said that he feels like they're treating the patients in COVID for the wrong things. Like if their lungs are fine and they're putting them on respirators, the respirators are like killing the people in New York. And he says he thinks that's the reason why. And I'm just like, wow, that is absolutely crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I've been hearing that a lot too about the respirators. Or the ventilators. That's been the main thing because it's damaging people's lungs. Yeah, it's damaging their lungs. And that's, part of the problem I think is happening in New York City right now with all the high death rate is a treatment. Because in some states they're doing different things. They're doing the Z-Pack, hydroxychloroquine, and other stuff to help people get back to normal. But they're not doing that in New York. So that could be a reason why. I think that's what's going on. And people don't really, that seems to kind of not really be a thing that's talked about too much, unfortunately.
Right. And it's crazy because now that they've been busting over the ventilators and now there's ventilators all over the place, they were going to want to use those first instead of listening to this actual doctor who said there's something going on here that I don't recognize. Why is the person sitting, on the first level floor seems as if they just came off of Mount Sinai? Like, that's not normal, and they're treating it wrong. And I just don't know what to think. I always think there's corruption going on. Like you say, you don't trust anything anyone says, neither do I, because, I've been played long enough, but now I'm woke. Well, not they're woke, but woke into, the hypocrisy. So it's just like you can't trust anybody. But now I know I just need to be out there getting air because immune system health is very important. And let me say this one more thing because I don't want to take up too much time. But I was just talking to my mother earlier, and I said it's interesting the way that the left is moving and doing things. It's like the same thing about trans and the LGBT. They're trying to convince us wholeheartedly that there could be 7,000, sexes or orientations. We know that isn't true. And now they're trying to convince us that in order to be safe, that you should harbor your immune system and stay in and die. So when you go outside, you won't be able to fight off anything. And they're trying to say it as if it's Bible, just like it's new Bible for, it to be man, woman, and 39 other things. It's just all like they're definitely living outside of reality, and they're trying to take us all with them. But a lot of us are awake, and I think we're just going to show up in November and show them that we're not as stupid as they think that, we are, or we know that we're being deceived. I'm not a lawless person, so I'm going to stay inside of laws and everything like that, but I'm not going to, hinder myself from getting fresh air or feel like I'm going to be jailed. I mean, it's a awful time, but if you have, the love of the Lord, and you have faith, that everything will be okay. But that's all I wanted to say, ABL, and I'm so happy that I got through. I appreciate everything that you do. I think that you're a great corresponder, and I want to see you go to the top, and thank you for keeping me posted and updated. Me and my boyfriend watch you consistently, and we respect the work that you do.
I thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you. It means a lot to me.
No problem, sir. Have a good one.
Same to you.
Bye-bye.
Great call. Shout out to the caller. Right on point. Right on point. And, I'm seeing all kind of, protests, rallies, everything else. I saw one. I forget where it was. I'm going to try to pull it up right quick. Matter of fact, if I can find it, I'll put it on the screen for you guys. But, I mean, it's happening everywhere. This is not just, what they say, rednecks, hillbillies, whatever kind of slur they want to use. It ain't like that. This is just Americans. It's not Democrat, Republican. This is everybody because we all feeling it. And people that were kind of against it at first are now turning around because they understand what's going on. See, a lot of people didn't understand what would happen at first, but I did because I've been in business for a long time. I've been self-employed since I've been, how old was I when I came self-employed? Like 21? I'll be 36 this year. So this is something I've been doing for, going on, 13, 14, 15 years. I know how these things work. When you're talking about business, when you're talking about shutting down an economy, I know what the effects are going to be, how things are chained together. People didn't really understand it until they had to experience it. But here's a video right here. And if you're listening, thank you for listening on a audio streaming platform, whether that be iTunes, Anchor, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, whatever you are. This is Massachusetts State House calling for the governor to reopen the state and protesting the state's lockdown order. People ain't doing no social distancing. They're not standing far apart, and they're deep. They're packed in there. You're going to see that happen all the time because people have had enough. Enough is enough, and they're not going to just say, all right, it's all good. We're just going to take this line down. It ain't going to be that way. Democrats, Republicans, it don't matter. It don't matter what you are, what your identity is. What matters is you want the state to get back open so you have your freedom. This is what happens when you don't have your freedom. The life that you knew, that you loved at one point is no more. Alrighty. So let's get to the next call. And the number again, the call is 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. Let's go. 571, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
My name is Ashanti.
All righty, man. What's going on?
Hey, ABL. How you doing, man? So the woman who just spoke right before me, she said something that was really interesting and sparked a thought in my mind. She mentioned one was the Bible, and she mentioned corruption. So a few things that I think a lot of people don't know but should know is, at least for me, and it sounds like conspiracy theory, but I think COVID was planned. One, I don't think that it is as bad as they say. I think that there are way more people who got it, and way more people. We're not as susceptible to death as they say we were. But if you look on YouTube and you type in Event 201, and last year in October, Bill Gates, John Hopkins, and the World Health Organization made a video talking about this end-of-world pandemic scenario. And in Event 201 starts off with saying that a coronavirus will be released from a containment lab in Wuhan, China. A couple months later, we have all this stuff start happening. Then it continues to go. It follows all the way through to the economic collapse, the civil unrest, and goes all the way through up till the point that we're probably going to end up at in the next year, 2 years, because there's no way for us to bounce back from our current economic situation. Like, that's not possible. And then Bill Gates, who also did Event 201, also started pushing this vaccine, this mandatory vaccine with a digital certificate, where he wanted us all to get microchips in our hands. A lot of people should have looked it up, but probably, I want to say 3 weeks ago, he got a patent passed, and the patent ID number is 060606. And the patent is for us to get microchips implanted in our hands that operate our new cryptocurrency, which once the petrodollar collapsed, they said we needed to back the U.S. dollar with a new cryptocurrency. And then the patent comes out, 666, for us to get chips in our hand to be able to use that cryptocurrency. So I guess I'm saying all this to say, from your personal perspective, would you say that you think this is more of something that was purposely orchestrated and 100% was purposely done? Or do you think that there's still some level of just chance involved in everything that has happened so far, at least the release or the certain circumstances or events that are playing out as we go through our day-to-day life?
I think it was an accident that got out of control, and people are now seizing the opportunity to take advantage of it. They're doing their own things while this is happening. You saw it right here in the States, right out in the open. People like Nancy Pelosi trying to put in things for abortion in the virus relief bill. I mean, how does abortion?
They try to pass on us.
Yeah, how does abortion have to do with anything virus related? They're trying to do things because we're in a state of panic. People are scared, and they'll just allow things to go on without much kickback. Like I was saying at the beginning, when the whole thing broke, like in March, people were for the shutdown. Everybody was with it. Well, not everybody, but a lot of people, many more than are with it right now, because as the weeks have progressed, people have seen the consequences of the shutdown and people are starting to get turned off. But right when it happened, people were soft and they were easily malleable and led the wrong direction. So people saw that and took advantage of it. I think that's what's going on, really.
All right. So, like, that was one of the things that I thought about before. It was like, man, people are too easy to push over. Like, there's no way. A lot of people was thinking, like, oh, it's America. Nothing like this could happen to America. And I used to be like, nah, this is definitely going to hit America. Then everybody I knew was like, our economy shut down for 2 days, complete collapse. Oh, it's not that bad. We'll come back again. In 2008, we had, like a 2% hit to our economy. Now we had a 95% hit to our economy. We not bounced back. Then oil collapsed for the first time. This is worse than the Great Depression. But I've learned that a lot of people, especially Americans, are so accustomed to having everything handed to them. Like, most Americans don't know what it's like to have to go out in the field and, like, actually hunt and do all these things to get their food. Like, they're used to going to a window, handing somebody $5 to get food back. They're used to iPods, iPad. Like, no one actually pays attention to the well-being of their self and, like, their ability to actually be able to think rationally. They just want to live their life getting the next best new thing, the new iPad or whatever else it is. And I think now people are actually starting to wake up when they have to sit there and see that their kids looking back at them hungry and there's nothing they can do about it. So I don't know. I know for me, I think it's all going to get worse. I think that if you read the Bible kind of called all this stuff out. Like, even in Revelation 18, it says that the great merchants of the earth would deceive all mankind with medication. And if you look up the Strong's Concordance of it and look in different versions, it says it's all through medication. And then dude passes a patent for a 666 microchip to control our money, to put it in our hands. So for me, I don't know. I think it's all purposely orchestrated, and that people are now going to start waking up, and it's going to probably get like 20 times worse. We're not even close to the end of this thing yet.
Well, hopefully we can get back to some semblance of normal, because, I mean, I don't know how that looks for the whole world, not just America, but for the whole world if we don't. But, hey, man, thank you for the call.
Do you think it's possible to?
I think it is possible. I mean, I don't think it's
the collapse of the petrodollar.
I mean, how's it going to collapse?
Well, not the collapse, but the collapse of oil, basically. We went, 305% in one day, and the petrodollar is back at the U.S. dollar now, since the 70s.
But how was it going to collapse is what I'm saying.
So I think, I ain't going to say it's going to completely collapse, but when oil prices dropped, when oil shot out and the producers started paying people to take the oil, I think they were paying, $41 a barrel. So when they started paying other people to come pick up oil, that's why gas prices are going to end up going down, and then we're going to see hyperinflation later on. A bunch of oil companies start filing for bankruptcy. Like, oil's screwed up right now.
What you're missing is the U.S. military. That also backs the dollar. That's something people don't talk about too much. The U.S. military, and also the dependence of foreign nations upon the United States. We provide protection for countries all over the globe. South Korea, Japan, Germany, a lot of the Nordic countries, Sweden, Norway, Kingdom of Denmark. We got too much of a footprint all over the world. The U.S. military, the petrodollar is still there because people still got to buy gas. That's still a requirement. Although it took a hit, that mean it can't come back. You know, there was a big time gas freak out. There was a big time gas freak out in the 70s, and we got back from that. It went up real high to like $3-4, and it came down. It'll go back. Like, it's a requirement. You have to have it. So, I mean, just because there was a big hit on it don't mean it can't just rebound, because it's a requirement. And you got to have safety. Right. You got to have protection. So we'll be fine. It's just a matter of going through a momentary time where we're going to be down. Even during the Great Depression, we were down for a while, but we came back, though. It wasn't like we just, stayed down forever.
Right, yeah. I think there is some point where we bounce back, but I just don't see it being in the next, let's say, 3 years. I think it'll be a 5, 10, 15-year thing. 2008, like in Cali, their airlines, they all took a hit, 2% hit. The governor of Cali came on TV the other day saying how in 2008 it was a 2% hit. It took 10 years for them to bounce back from that. This time they took a 95% hit, and our entire economy is basically the same way.
So do you take Gavin Newsom's word?
I don't want to reopen.
Caller, do you take Gavin Newsom's word for gospel?
No, not at all. I don't believe any politician's I barely do. Like, anything that I think is all stuff that I either read in the Bible or I reached out to 100 different sources, including you, to figure out.
The main thing that's going to happen here is that people are going to have their confidence back. That's really, because that's what the economy was really bolstered.
Is going to hurt.
It's confidence. Like, if, you know, people got to get that back. And I think the longer people see this whole shutdown and quarantine and stuff affect us negatively, people are going to revolt from it, and they're going to gain the confidence back. It may be slow to happen in some parts of the country, but fast in other parts of the country.
Right.
But hey, thank you for the call, man. I definitely appreciate you.
All right, thanks, man. Take care.
All right, now. Shout out to the caller. Most certainly appreciate it. Thank you to everybody that's watching. The number to call is 434-658-1220. The number is always in the description box, and it sometimes comes right here in a little ticket right there underneath me in the video if you're watching live on the YouTubes. But let's get to the next call. 520, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to? Oh, that's 520, didn't answer. Let me get to the next one. 951, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hello.
Yes, 951. Who am I speaking to?
This is Mario.
All righty, man. What's going on?
Hey, one of the things your previous callers talked about just a few minutes ago was the concern that ventilators are harming patients. And that's not happening. I read a medical article that said the COVID is causing blood clots, and those blood clots are impacting patients' abilities to breathe.
Okay, but I've also seen doctors say that the ventilators are the problem. So, I mean, which source is right? Which source is wrong?
Yeah, that's a real challenge. But the ventilators in and of themselves are simply moving air in and out of the lungs. So you have to apply them properly. And I guess the issue is they're not 100% sure how to apply them when they're still learning about the virus and what it's causing. You know, it's almost like the opposite of Ebola that caused people to bleed out. It's the COVID is causing people to have micro blood clots, which is blocking off the alveoli, which is the functional units of the lungs, so you can't breathe. And the morbidity rate of ventilator patients is through the roof. It's like 80%. So you don't get that kind of morbidity because the events are not being applied properly. It's because they're simply not useful against the COVID.
Well, there was a stat that came out that said like 80 to 90% of those that get put on a ventilator die. Is it because they're on a ventilator, or is it because of something else?
It's because of the COVID. It's because the ventilator is not very therapeutic for or against the COVID.
So is it not helping, or is it making the problem worse?
It's simply not helping.
Okay.
And so you got 20% of the people out there that it's helping, and that's great. But in the advanced cases, in a lot of what I heard was in a lot of scenarios, they're waiting to put the patients on the vents because they don't think it's going to help. But then it's a last ditch effort at the very end to try and help the patient with the ventilator. But it's very challenging for sure. The problem is that I have is the whole mask issue. Nobody's talking about the N95 masks and the face coverings and all of that. Nobody's talking about the simple fact that the masks are not protecting anybody from the COVID virus at all. They're not capable. Bacteria masks, which is what these are, have a 0.3 micron rating. So they filter bacteria because bacteria is 0.3 microns or larger. Viral spores, like the coronavirus, are incredibly small. They go down to 0.1 or 0.06 microns. The filters simply cannot filter them. Your scarf, your handkerchief, your homemade face mask is doing absolutely nothing except making it harder to breathe. That's it. There's no protection there.
Yeah, I mean,
Nobody's talking about it.
Yeah, that makes sense to me because I saw a story from a few days ago where a lady was wearing her mask in a car, and then she passed out, crashed her car, almost died, crashed to a pole because she couldn't breathe in the mask. And people are saying, "Oh, why are they wearing the mask below their nose?" It's because they can't breathe properly in the mask. They're not used to having their airway obstructed, but they're just going through their daily routine.
Yeah, correct. All it does is it just makes it harder to breathe. But anybody can look this up. Research the filtration rating of an N95 mask. Research the physical size of a coronavirus, and you'll see that the mask offers no protection against viral spores. And so when you put something in front of your face, it's harder to breathe because that is a resistance to your expiratory flow. Our body rests to exhale. And so now once you put something in front of your face, now you have to work to exhale, and you get tired, you get fatigued, you're not breathing well, you're labored. And yeah, if your homemade mask has layers upon layers of fabric that are not protecting against a 0.06 micron size viral spore, all you're going to do is pass out.
It makes sense to me. It makes perfect sense. Now, I don't want to be like funny, but are you a doctor or physician? Because you sound like you have a lot of information.
No, I'm not a physician. I'm not a clinician, but I do know something about ventilators and filtration.
Okay. Well, I mean, what you're saying makes a lot of sense. I mean, I don't doubt what you're saying at all.
Right, and so I appreciate that. You know, the thing of it is this: there's no shortage of ventilators. Okay, there are thousands and thousands of ventilators all across the land that are not in use, and so what is concerning is that the federal government is spending $2.5 to $3 billion. They're producing 90,000 ventilators, and there is no shortage of ventilators. I mean,
right.
You have your hot spots. You have a hot spot here, you have a hot spot there, but you know it's being reported widely now that has been known for some time now that hospitals are not full, and entire fleets of ventilators are not in use.
Right.
So what is this all about? What is this all about if it's not about control?
It's control, obviously, and then money is a factor here as well, because I read an article a while back that said that Medicare reports up to 38 or 39,000 per patient that gets put on a ventilator if they have COVID-19. So that could be a factor. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but that is a fact about the money part of it.
Yeah, well, that's what politicians do. They love to throw money at people's way, and then you become more dependent upon it. And I think it's just about forcing universal health care and government control of the healthcare industry.
Yeah, it makes sense to me, man. But hey, thank you for the call. I definitely appreciate it.
You bet. Appreciate what you do. Take care.
All right, now. All right, shout out to the caller. And thank you all for being here. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. All right, we got super chats on deck. Then I'm going to get back to the calls. Thank you to, let me scroll up a little bit, who says, shout out to Miriam Vidal, who says, it should be illegal for you to choose whether you leave your house because you could harm me if I choose to leave my house. Make that make sense. Exactly. If I leave my house, you can harm me if you leave your house. So you can't leave. So when I leave, you won't harm me. That's kind of what happened. There was a case over in UK. Now, this guy is a modeler. And what that means is he's one of the guys that creates these models, like, oh, we're going to have 1 trillion people die in 2 weeks. One of those guys makes these models of that predicts the death toll from certain things like the virus. Now, I'm going to put it up right here. Hold on. Let me make sure I can just, there we go. Okay. What's this guy's name? Neil Ferguson. All right, Mr. Ferguson. So you see it on the screen. It might be kind of hard to read, but I'm going to just read it, especially if you're not listening or you're not watching the video. Government scientist in UK, Neil Ferguson, resigns after breaking lockdown rules to meet his married lover. So the girl or the woman, the lady, came to his house during the lockdown. It's like, sir, you're the one that is making the motto talking about, oh, it's going to be 500,000 people in the UK dying if we don't do X, Y, and Z relating to the lockdown, all this and that. But you got your little side piece coming to the house who's married during the whole lockdown kerfuffle. You see, like, this is just so silly. It's like, what they be doing? They don't want to do it. And didn't Obama go golfing? But yet, they want to talk about social distancing, stay inside, all this, that, and the third. Really? Do as I say, never as I do. That's how they operate on the left. So it's so typical. I'm not even surprised at all. But I figured I put that out there for you just so you can kind of get a kick out of that. This guy says, okay, we're going to have everybody in the whole UK die in 5 days if we don't do the shutdown, according to my model. But meanwhile, you know what I'm going to do? I'm having my side piece come by the crib and we have a little party. But I'll get back to the calls. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. Let me get to the next call. 240, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
It's your boy, JB. What's up, my brother?
Everything's good, man. Can't complain.
Man, these people losing their mind, brother. And I was listening to side chick, the main dude calling all these things, do as I say, dude. They got a side chick coming out who's married. I looked around, yeah, you weren't lying. That makes me sick. All these people walk around and say, well, you need to quarantine yourself, because what about the people you might hurt? Hey, you do more damage staying in the house. Guess what? I'm going crazy. I know people are going double crazy. I'm already crazy.
Yeah, like I can't just stop my routine. It's not going to work because if I don't have my feng shui going on my routine, then it's going to be a problem. And I don't want that to come out. It's like David Banner, Incredible Hulk. You don't want that.
Exactly. And then on top of that, it's bad for your brain to stay in the house all day and watch TV. You vegetate. People need to think you don't vegetate. Am I right, brother? You
100% correct. And then on top of that, you get a weaker immune system. So if we're trying to fight a virus, then how are we going to fight it by having a weaker immune system? That don't make no sense.
That's why I mean, me and my son, we go out to the grocery stores. We go everywhere we got to. We walk around at least every day. Walk around near people, around people all day. Everything. Why do you do that? It's wrong to your son. Look, it's wrong for me keeping the house all day, vegetating, and then on top of that, they close down all these schools, and then they'll release a report saying that most kids have a lower chance of getting infected in schools.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Ain't that crazy?
It is.
And then on top of that, the kids are hurting now because they have nothing to do. And what they're doing, play Xbox 360 and Wii and all these different video games, but they're not going outside socializing. Exactly. It's a form of control. Yep. They're trying to train generation how to control them. And everybody gets mad when I say that to them. And then you heard about that black guy that got shot running down the street. Running down the street. But then I argued with somebody. They did something that's wrong. They did is racist. I said, no, it ain't racist. It's just the simple fact that he's looking at people's windows. Given the times we're in right now, people are crazy. They're losing their mind. He could even be wrong, but you can't go around doing stuff like in a pandemic quarantine. You just can't do that.
See, I didn't even know all that.
Yeah, he's looking in windows, and I'm like, you're looking in windows. That looks suspicious anyway. And what is it, in Georgia somewhere? What was it, Atlanta?
Like South Georgia, like almost to Florida.
But you see what I'm saying? That's kind of crazy right there. And then you got Sean Kingston, aka Token Malcolm X, and there's one person out on my face. I say he's not black. Yes, he is black. No, he's not. Look it up. Well, who cares? Just one for black men. Just said no. All he does is live off of racism and promotes it and try to keep you down, you moron. That's all he does. In my mind, I'm like, get out of here with that. Come on, talking about he's abstaining. What's abstaining about? He lied about being black. That's a double whammy right there. As I said, you know anything about history? They've been doing it for years too. They illustrate the black community and turn against each other. That's what he's doing.
Yeah.
You don't follow him, be a fake pro-black all day. You get lynched by the social media. I've been lynched all day. And I'm like, God, he's for Trump. He's the devil. I say, well, you know what? I'll take a chance with this devil than devil I can't see. Am I right, ABL?
I'm with you.
Am I right? And then people don't understand. These people are delusional, saying that this is healthy for us. And the main people saying are government workers who work from home. They're still getting paychecks. The people who are contractors and ain't getting paychecks, Yeah, they're screwed over. They don't care. That's just how selfish they are. And then you got people going around saying, I hope people go in those big malls catch it. That's sick.
Yeah, I mean that's crazy, but people that's how they think because they're so afraid, they're so scared themselves. If you're not afraid, then they just lash out at you. That's what that is. It's just lashing out.
Yeah. And ABL, I saw your Facebook post, pimping, dating. I see you player.
Yeah.
ABL's like, yeah, date night. You know what I'm saying? We chilling, think. I'm like, you lucky somebody. That was when you say you're lucky. DMV. I'm like, DMV, we ain't doing nothing in DC, Maryland. We just MIA, just stuck in the house. And on top of that, what's that?
And you know, the crazy part is that when we were out over the weekend, we saw an elderly couple come in right after us, sat right next to us, no mask, no nothing. They were just chilling. They ain't worried about it. They got the cane, the walker, and all that, and they chilling. I'm seeing more elderly couples outside eating in restaurants and whatnot than young people.
I am too.
Right. So my thing,
like the old people, they don't care.
They don't care. Like the whole thing was, are you going to kill your grandmama? Meanwhile, grandmama outside. She's not worried. She's not scared.
Exactly. Walking around doing her thing without mask on.
Yep.
I tried to tell her, I said, a lot of people survive like Vietnam wars and stuff like that. They don't give a damn about this. And that's what I try to tell everybody. I said, I survived 2 tours around. I don't give a damn about no virus. I'm better than this virus. This virus can kick rocks. Down the flu having somebody, and you walk around, and then I made a post saying, I hope when it's all over, we go back and open all our factories. You hear me say, open all our factories, make everything in the United States. But we probably won't, because you know Democrats don't like that. Because they want to outsource everything and make America weak and keep America weak. Because the weakness is controlment. People don't understand that. They're sold. They bought the lie.
That's right.
The Democratic lie. And then that's another thing. That makes me so sick. But before I go, brother, man, we got, bro, keep the good fight up, man. And chat room, we gonna be good, all right, y'all? Because if government open back up and nothing happens, them old scared people be eating crow's pie when Donald Trump gets reelected. Have a nice one, my brother.
All right, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Peace, love, and jerk, curl juice.
All right, peace. All right, thanks to my man JB for the call. Super chat's on deck. Then I'm gonna get back to the calls. Shout out to Randy who says, if I owned a mining company, I wouldn't want the liability. Shout out to Meme JPEG who says Florida is open. Shout out to Florida. You know, the beach is open. That's a good thing. Thank you for your donation. Shout out to Nippon who says, according to leftists, feeding your family is a crime. Exactly. If I open my salon and do hair, a legal business that I've been had for 15, 20 years of my life, and I depend on it to feed myself and my kids and take care of other people's families because they work there as well. If I do that, then I get locked up. But if I'm a pedophile, if I'm a sex offender, I get released from the penitentiary because they're afraid that I might catch the coronavirus. Meanwhile, when I'm at my parole officer's office, I take my thing out and swing it around like a helicopter, but I move on. Anyway, shout out to my man Charles Turner Jr., who says, like most of us here, I'm so fed up with the left lying, maligning, ridiculing people, peacefully protesting with their guns, like the January 20th rally in Richmond, the recent protest. Hey, I'm right there with you, man. Thank you for that. Shout out to Nick Taylor, my man, who says, ABL, you notice the mainstream media and power structure is playing the COVID number spiked at the fill in the blank rally as soon as the dude would lift it. Nice scare tactic, not working on me, though. Show the test results on these people. Hey, thank you for that. That's a good point because what they want to say, the number spiked after the rally. First of all, if a number spikes, then you got to answer a few questions. First question is, are you testing more people? Second question is, when did they get infected? Because when they say the number of cases spiked, does that mean they just got it like right when they went to the rally? How do you know when they had it? They could have been had it and just got tested recently within the roundup of a lot of new tests that was happening. Like if it was an aggressive push for more tests and then they come up with more people, I mean, they could have been had it. It could have been a consistent amount of people that had it for a long time, but if you're doing more tests, you're going to find more people. It's not hard to understand. When people don't think about it that way, they don't think that deeply. They just think, the number went up. That must mean you got new cases. That's not how that works. And you got all kind of false positives. One guy in Georgia tested positive and negative for the virus in the same day. So all these numbers are meaningless, totally meaningless. Like the whole thing about, the U.S. has the most cases in the world, all this, that, and the third, a bunch of malarkey. You know, China has way more, talking about, oh, we only got 5,000 deaths. Really? For real? And that whole big country, 1.3 million, not million, billion people? Be for real. Anyway, thank you for that, man. Definitely appreciate it. Thank you to Jay, who says, where we go one, I forget how that is. I had it memorized. Where we go one, we go all. There you go. I got it. Thank you for that, man. Definitely appreciate it. Shout out to Jay, who says it's all about the children. Q. Thank you for that. Shout out to Champ, who says I don't think it's worse than the Great Depression. Probably not, because I mean people still got, you know, all kind of creature comforts, you know, because technology has become better that provides automation to have these things happen. But if you listen to Andrew Yang, aka Chinese Communist Party agent, he'll say, "Oh, that's a bad thing, automation, because it'll kill your job." It is, and he's not thinking deeply. But anyway, thank you for that, man. Definitely appreciate it. Shout out to Jay, who says Big Pharma is killing us. Oh, it's a mess. Thank you for that. Shout out to October Scorpio, who says this is a new world order, elitist cabal society, secret power move to off the population and biochip everyone else. The government will control the food supply soon. Fake alien invasion coming soon. All right, man. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Shout out to Baron Von Moreland, who says wearing a mask lowers brain function and makes you vote Democrat. Many thanks, ABL. Thank you for your donation, man. Definitely appreciate it. Thank you to Jay, who says nobody talks about suicide rates due to quarantine, but it's huge. Yes. In Knoxville, Tennessee, I think there were 8 suicides reported in a 48-hour period about 2 weeks ago. I mean, yeah, people losing their jobs. People are going crazy in the house. Like, people aren't looking at the externalities, as what they call it, the things happen as a result of the quarantine. They're looking at that. They're just seeing, oh, we got to stay home because we don't want to spread the virus. Scare people not understanding the way that the world works. Shout out to BR, who says, what about the flu death count? It disappeared? Exactly. That's what I want to know. Shout out to Matt, who says soft science is a religion. It is. Thank you for that. And shout out to Fat Tony, who is keep it real, my brother. Hey, appreciate you for your donation. Definitely appreciate it. And the number to call again is 434-658-1220. I'm glad I live in a place where you don't have neighbors telling on each other and everything's all good. My neighbors are good. Ain't nobody wearing no mask, no gloves, no nothing. I live in a good place. If I was in New York, I would hate it. I would try to escape New York. People are leaving New York, really escaping New York and not coming back. And say, nope, I'm done. That experience, a terrible experience. I don't want to do it no more. All right, let's get to the next call. 712, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, this is Al from Iowa, ABL. Diddle to your show. Hey, kind of want to put some things in perspective here. You know, I've heard people talk about being scared of this virus. You know, and us Americans, we used to be a pretty strong nation, and we kind of got become wimps in a way. And I want people to think this. How would you feel if you were on Normandy Beach? How would you feel if you were landing on Iwo Jima? That was fear. Not knowing if you're going to get hit, your buddy's going to get hit, you're going to come back in a body bag, you're going to come back with your legs gone or whatever. That was fear. The other thing about fear is the media is making us fearful. Turn the damn thing off. You know, I don't listen to it anymore. I go outside with no mask on and stuff. You know what? If it gets me, it gets me. At least if I got a hospital close by. So you're lucky there. There's people that was like on Normandy beaches, Iwo Jima, they didn't have that. So as far as fear goes, I want to explain that. Now the other thing about fear too, what we're seeing. Fear is for a lady or a person that stands up to open up their own business, knowing that they're going to be prosecuted by city people or county or state for trying to have make a living. They're fearful because basically they need to make a living. And we should be fearful on the government, I'm talking state, local, even your sheriffs, of basically not letting or not obeying what they took an oath to. They took an oath to the Constitution. They are basically not following the Constitution. I watched some of these protests, and I just shook my head at these police officers as they're trying to push the people back. Like, you know what? You are on the wrong side of this. I mean, you've seen some of them videos, correct?
Yes, I have. I have, yes.
I mean, I know as being, I'm military, and that was the first thing, was taking an oath that to defend the Constitution. We need to hold even the law enforcement officers, if they want to play that game, we need to hold them accountable for it. And your sheriff is actually your first line of defense against the federal government. People need to call their sheriff's department, find out where they stand. They have elections too. If they ain't going to stand for the American people, for the Constitution, then you need to get them out of there. You need to get someone in there that does. It doesn't have to be a law enforcement officer. Someone that learns the Constitution. Call it job training. At least if they read the Constitution, that basically they'll believe in it. You got gun stores getting closed down by what the government considers essential. What the hell is essential? Essential is for me to feed my family. The essential is for you to have a service out there for people, to make it as safe as possible. ABL, I thank you, and I thank you for letting me get this off my chest. And you have a great platform here, and ditto to you, and keep up the good work, sir.
All right, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
All right, shout out to the caller. Most certainly appreciate him. Thank you to Tony Smith, who says Tanzania president is a boss for buying that juice from Madagascar. That could be a game changer against the Wuhan virus. Now, what is that about? I've not seen that story. Like, I've seen kind of like headlines here and there, but what happened with that story? You guys let me know what happened with the Tanzania president. What did he do? All right, let me get to the next call. All right, Matt, what's going on?
Hey, ABL, what's happening?
Everything's good, man. Can't complain.
Hey, now, did you already talk about this Aubrey guy that was shot?
Well, I talked about it earlier when I was just talking before the calls, but nobody's asked me about it on the call yet.
Man, that was pretty weird. Those guys had guns, and the guy did go and try to grab the gun. It just seemed really bizarre. It didn't seem like something that just a jogger would do. Like, oh, you're jogging, and then there's a guy with a gun. There had to have been a prior conversation or interaction previous to that.
Now, this is what happened. From what I've been reading, the guys that killed him have already spoken about what their side of the story. What they said was he looked like a burglary suspect, a guy that had been breaking into some homes or some cars or whatever in the area. Mm-hmm. And they said, okay, that's him right there jogging in the neighborhood. Let's go ahead and, let's go. That was it. They said, let's go. So they get in their car with their guns. One guy's a shotgun, other guy's a pistol. And then they are following them. And then as he's continuing to jog, they chase him. And then they confront him. They cut him off with their car. And then they say, we want to talk to you, which they shouldn't have done. Really what they should have done within, your legal limits is follow him and call the police and let them handle it. But you can't be doing citizen's arrest because you didn't see him commit a crime. All you think is that this guy appears to be somebody that looks like a suspect. So they cut him off. And then at that point, he might see the gun. I'm not really sure. But that's when the fight happens, when he cuts him off. But see, that's at that point, it gets kind of murky. Did they come out of the car with their guns? Did they already have the guns on them? Did they block him from being able to go forward? It's a lot of unanswered questions. But I think we'll know more about that as the days and weeks progress.
Yeah, he went around the vehicle, which I thought was kind of strange. But at the end of the day, I did a citizen's arrest here in Washington, actually. A guy hit a crossing guard with his car. And I didn't know what he had done, but I had arrested him because I saw that he had a flat tire and he had all kinds of drugs in the car and that kind of stuff. But,
I mean, that makes sense because you see something happen. You seeing something going on right there. But if a guy's just jogging or walking or running or whatever is going on, and he appears to be somebody that could be a burglary suspect, but you didn't see anything happen, you just, there's nothing going on around him. You can follow him maybe and call the police.
Yeah, follow him. I think you'd have to be crazy to do a citizen's arrest with a firearm. That just seems unless you're detaining somebody that came into your house or something like that, it just seemed kind of nuts. But this guy was prior law enforcement, I guess, too, and maybe he had like some kind of comfort level that we don't have, but it didn't seem like they should have been chasing him with a truck.
Yeah, one guy was prior law enforcement.
Yeah. That Neil Ferguson guy, he got fired for basically going out and getting some strange.
He resigned.
He get fired for saying 2.2 million Americans are going to die. That kind of seems like you'd get fired for being really wrong.
Well,
fired for.
But you know how it is. Like if you're a weatherman and you say, "Oh, it's going to rain every day," and it never rains. But this case is a lot more egregious. This guy is shutting down the whole world economy and stuff like that, or at least aiding in it. If they're using his model with other information and saying, "Okay, based on this, we're going to go ahead and shut down," I mean, that could be a crime against humanity, really. But the issue is that he didn't even follow with the whole quarantine thing. He was like, "I'm going to break it and get my side piece over here. You have a little party."
Yeah. I mean, we've all not followed quarantine for that reason. It just I was talking to my friend. I sent that link out a while back, and they're like, the people up here are like, "Oh, this is just like anti-intellectual," and I am really surprised that people like kind of see it like that. It's like, no, we're not anti-intellectual. We're anti-people not making quantified statements. Like there's tons of qualified people out there. Like anybody that studies black holes is like, yeah, I'm qualified to do this and to develop these theories. But we don't know what happens on the other side of the event horizon. Well, we know exactly what's going to happen with coronavirus. It's going to kill 2.2 million people. Oh, you want my data? They don't make any measured statements whatsoever. And belief in these things, like there's a reproducibility project. They studied. There's about 3 Ivy League organizations and a couple ones in California that tried to reproduce science studies. Like they started with psychology. They got like 36% of psychology was reproducible. And these soft sciences, they're absolutely horrible in terms of reproducibility and standards. And climate science is one of those soft sciences. It's not a hard science.
Definitely.
So if you live by what these people say and you're willing to destroy half an economy to do it, you're making a faith-based decision because they're not able to quantify. I mean, priests are very qualified to say what they want to say about the afterlife and all that other stuff, but I mean, one's opinion is as good as the next, when it comes to that. I mean, but I mean, this whole thing about virology and what the causes and effects and results and proper policy decisions are, it's kind of like a short-term climate science that we're really kind of seeing playing out and what people say and how they get to these conclusions and what sort of people see as perfectly good tragedies that they don't want to go to waste and implement all these policies. But I'd want to talk to you about the petrodollar and stuff a couple of callers ago, but I don't have time. Please keep up the good show.
All right, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate it.
Yeah, cheers.
All right, shout out to my man Matt for the call. And let's get to the next call. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. 423 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, it's Tony. Am I on?
You on live. What's happening?
I don't know much, man. I can't believe I got through.
All righty, man. I'm glad you're on.
I just want to say, I won't stay on here long. I'm from little more Chat Town, so I think I'm close. But I think what you're doing is real big, man. So hang in there, brother.
Oh, definitely going to do that. Got to do it.
Hey, I tell my son all the time, I said, I know you take a lot of heat for being on the right, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do, brother.
That's right, and so, it's becoming less of a thing now because people are starting to warm up, and then especially down here where I live, everybody's real nice, everybody's cool. So, I don't see it as a problem, but I got to keep on moving.
Yeah, that's right, man, and it can be big, like with Candace Owens and some of the other ones. Buddy of mine, we was talking, and I said, I don't think people realize how big this can be, you know, moving forward. To say, like you say, it ain't about redneck, hillbilly. We're all people, man. You know, we got to sit together.
That's right. Absolutely.
Thank you, brother.
All right, thank you for the call, man. All right, shout out to the caller. And shout out to all you guys in here. Let me get to the next call here. Okay, caller, I'm not sure who you are, but you're on Skype, I see. Who am I speaking to?
Yeah. Snapzilla.
Oh, Snapzilla, man. What's going on?
Snapzilla Gorilla, man. Not much, man. I decided to try a Skype call.
All right.
My other son, you know, getting some, I'm in California. We still got some sunlight out here.
Yeah, I see that.
It was like 90 degrees today.
Wow.
But it was great. So I wanted to kind of talk about, the situation with that young kid in Sacramento that was accosted by the police, that police officer.
Yeah.
That kind of threw him around. Now, from a freedom perspective, ask this question. What crime did that kid commit?
What crime?
With the understanding of knowing what a crime really is.
Well, I mean, I'm not sure what the crime was. If there's a crime of resisting when officers trying to arrest you, that could be the crime. If that is a crime.
Well, I would say that the only person that committed the crime that day was the police officer. So one thing we have to understand about California is marijuana is legal in California. So if the officer thought that they were doing a hand-to-hand transaction with marijuana, that's none of his business, number one. Number two, see, the kid should never been approached in the first place, because what he was doing with that other individual was a voluntary transaction between two individuals that were minding their own business. There was no crime committed. In order for there to be a true crime, there has to be a victim. There were no victims in that situation. And I'm seeing a lot of different takes on this situation. I'm seeing that the cop was right, that the kid was wrong, and is justified and vindicated because the cop vindicated because the kid apologized.
He did apologize to the cop.
To me, it was under duress. Like, I feel like somebody made him apologize, maybe his parents. I don't feel like when I was looking at him and he was giving that apology, I don't feel like it was genuine at all.
But see, it's a good point right there. His parents probably made him do that. So do you think his parents were wrong?
Well, his parents are a part of society, right?
But are they wrong though?
No, they're not wrong, because that's their child. The only true authority over a person that anyone has is a parent over their child. And I would not have made my child apologize for me, but they're his parents and they made a decision. But at the end of the day, what I'm trying to get to is, and this is very important in terms of how everyone is being treated during this lockdown, all the rights that are being violated. We can't pick and choose when it's okay for people to be free. Either they're free or they aren't. Either two people are free to have a voluntary transaction, right? Or they're not. And if they're not, that's a problem.
Okay, but here's the thing about it though. If you are 14 years old, is weed still legal?
No.
How about tobacco? How about alcohol?
No, that's not legal either.
So if weed is legal in California, it doesn't really matter because it's not legal for that kid to have it.
Okay, so my question is this: does legal equal moral?
Nah.
Does illegal equal immoral?
No.
Because back in the day, slavery was legal, right? Back in the day, slavery was legal, and now murdering babies in the womb and in New York outside the womb is legal. So what I'm talking about is this cop didn't know how old this kid was. He could have been a pygmy. He could have been a midget. He didn't know anything about this kid until he approached him. And when he approached him, he gave the cop asked, "What you got?" And he gave it to him right away. The kid gave it to him. So at that point, even if the cop felt the need to approach this individual, at that point, when the kid gives you what you're asking about, why take it to the next level? Why try to get identification? To me,
well, the thing is, how do you know that's all of what he had? Maybe it is, maybe it wasn't. Who knows? But then you got to ask for it. But then you got to ask. But see, the thing is, you can't say that he gave all of what he had. You don't. Maybe he did. Maybe he didn't. That doesn't really. And then the thing about it is, if you approach him, you still got to follow through. You still got to, get identification. All he probably would have did was give him a citation and say, "Have a nice day." But see, because you got to do that because that's what they are told they got to do. That's just the protocol.
They're order followers, right? So this is what I'm saying. The fact that he was approached in the first place is where it went wrong, right? So it doesn't matter if what the kid had on him. It's called the Fourth Amendment, right?
So what if he had heroin? So what if he had heroin? Would it be fine?
And he had heroin. I mean,
so okay. Now the question is, do you think that drugs should be legal? All drugs, heroin, crack, meth. Should you be able to be 8 years old and smoke dope? Should you be able to do that?
No, but it's ultimately up to the parents.
But hold on, because we got to get to this though. Because hold on. Should you be able to be 8, 9, 10 years old smoking crack?
No, you shouldn't be.
All right then. So if an officer comes up on you and then is saying, "Hey, what do you have there? What's going on?" Shouldn't he be able to do that because he's trying to prevent a kid from smoking dope? Wouldn't that be something that makes sense if you're trying to prevent him from doing that? If that's your job to do that?
No, this is the problem. The kid wasn't smoking anything. He handed something to someone. Hold on. He did not smoke anything. He was handed something and he handed something to somebody else. There was no smoking. There was no slamming. There was none of that. People made an exchange. And what I'm saying is this. If something is illegal, that creates a bigger problem, right? If you try to prohibit something, like alcohol. There was a prohibition on alcohol, right? Look at all the problems that it caused. Look at the drug war, right? Drug war is really nothing more than a war on the people, right? Because now what you're doing is when you make it illegal, you're creating a black market, right? The free market is going to dictate that if somebody wants something, they're going to get it. So if you create a black market, there's the danger because now they have to do everything in subterfuge. They have to murder people for not snitching. How many?
I mean, I understand. I see what you're saying, but you just said that you shouldn't be able to smoke crack and be 8 years old. So you agree with me?
No, you shouldn't. But that's who's that? That's up to the parents. Listen. When I was a kid.
Well, okay. I'll rephrase the question. I kind of rephrase because
you're not going to stay.
I'll rephrase the question. Should it be legal for you to smoke crack at 8 years old? That's the question. Should it be legal?
No. I don't care about legality.
But not that. But I understand it. I know you don't care. But the question was, should it be legal to do that?
No, I don't operate in legal.
I understand. I understand you don't, but I'm just saying because we have laws in the books, right? Should it be legal for you to be 8 years old and smoke crack? Should it be?
It should be legal.
I mean, but see, you're evading the question.
No, I'm not.
Because you know if you say that no, it shouldn't be legal, then I'm right. But if you say that it should be legal, then you say that 8-year-olds should smoke crack. So you kind of in the rock between the heart. You're rocking the hard place.
That's not that is exactly not what I'm saying. See.
So why not just answer it?
At the post hoc ergo propter hoc fallacy.
But why not just answer the question though? Why not just say yay or nay?
You gonna let me answer because I'm trying to tell you that I don't operate in that manner. I operate in moral and immoral. It does moral and immoral does not line up with legal and illegal.
If you get caught, if you get caught with drugs, you're going to jail. So you do operate on legality. If you get caught with drugs right now, you're going to jail. So you do operate on legality. You may not want to personally.
I don't operate on that. The officer that arrested me operates in that.
But you operate on that because now you
kidnapped.
Okay, that's fine. But you still, at the end of the day, you're still going to be under that jurisdiction. So the question was, should it be legal for an 8-year-old to smoke crack? Yes or no, please.
I don't. Like I said, it's immoral.
Oh, okay. I got your answer from there. I got you.
I'm sticking to my guns. I don't operate in legal and illegal, so I'm not going to answer a question.
Okay.
That would be fake. I don't believe in that. So what I'm trying to tell you, if somebody arrested me for drugs, how did I get the drugs? What did I do with the drugs? Did I create a victim by using drugs or no? am I doing that to myself? I am using the drugs on myself. I am destroying my own body. That's my right.
Okay.
It doesn't matter if it's legal or illegal. That's the point I'm trying to get across. So when we're talking about these stay-at-home orders, if you want to say technically that's legal, because guess why? Because of the National Health Emergency Powers Act that was created back in 2001 during the Twin Towers situation, right? When the anthrax got set out, that was written into law. So now when there's a state of emergency for medical reasons, they can do whatever they want to you according to that law. But that doesn't mean it's moral. But people are standing up against it, and I applaud that. What I'm saying is it has to apply across the board. You can't choose freedom when it's convenient. You have to choose freedom consistently. That's my whole point. I'm not saying it's absolutely not right for that adult to have given that 14-year-old kid.
So are you an anarchist?
I'm a voluntarist.
So, but see, are you an anarchist?
People get scared. They think Molotov cocktails, and they think you want to. No, you know what our anarchy means?
What does that mean?
It's simple. No rulers. That's it.
So do you identify with having no rulers?
Absolutely. Do you want people to rule over you? Do you want a ruler?
Well, I don't want a ruler, but I want laws in society. I want some structure in society, not to the point where it's overbearing, but I do need to have some laws in society.
You're free to operate within a community that operates that way. You understand what I'm saying? So if you want that type of order, then guess what? You can go and join a community that operates like that. But that doesn't mean that I have to fall under that blanket because that's what you want.
Okay, I got you. We kind of getting long on time. I got one last question. Somebody asked in the chat, "Are you a traveler?"
Am I a traveler?
Yeah.
I plan on being a traveler next year, but I'm not a traveler right now. I've traveled. I was in the military. I've been all around the world, but I'm planning on traveling next year.
Because they were saying like sovereign citizen, that type of thing, like traveling. Maybe it's like something with that kind of community. I don't know anything about it. It was just a question in the chat.
Well, because everywhere you go, there's going to be. So let's say everywhere you go in the country, there's going to be rules. There's going to be laws that you have to operate under in that country. So it doesn't matter where you go. At this point in time, you're still under the umbrella or under the thumb of whatever government is operating within that region. So there's no free society right now. The closest thing we got is, heck, I don't even know, man. Deserted island? I don't know.
Gotcha.
I'm an idealist to a degree. So I'm just saying freedom has to go across the board. You can't pick and choose when you want freedom to be freedom.
All right, man. Well, thank you for your call, man. Definitely appreciate it.
All right, man. Thank you, man.
All right, peace. All right, shout out to my man Snap Zulu Gorilla for the call. Yeah, I got the best callers. You know, that was an interesting call. I enjoyed that. All right, let's get to the next call. Let's go 206 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Oh, hey, hold on one second. Let me turn this off right here. ABL?
Yep.
Hey, it's the Super Predator Gelfling Doug E. Seattle.
Everything's good, man. How about yourself?
I'm doing good, man. You know, just working away while all my friends are making $1,500 a week. Did you know that extra $600 is per week, not per month?
Yes, per week. People are making more on unemployment than they're making from working. So people are getting called back to the jobs, and they're dreading going back. It's like, why would I go back? I could sit at home and make this extra money for nothing.
I know. They're getting way better. Everybody I've talked to, they're looking at me like with their hands out, just like, hey, man, I'd rather have a job, but what you gonna do, right? I have to talk about the previous call, and it all depends on where you're at, man. Inner city California, that's standard operating procedure. So you ever been like mob gang by cop cars with their guns out, tell everybody in the car to get out and cross their ankles, then they run up and they slam you on the back and stick their knee in the back of your neck? See, they ain't got to be like that if you're surrendering, okay? I don't think it was right for him to hit the kid. I don't want to get into that because I've seen lines of riot cops. The first Gulf War protests, 200,000 maybe, Market Street, San Francisco, and they launched tear gas in and they clubbed everybody. And monetary fines for victimless crimes. That's a sliding scale punishment system, man. You know, if I get a $200 ticket, I ain't eating good that month, you know, and if a rich person does, that's like pulling a penny out of his pocket, you know, like Donald Trump with a $5,000 hooker. Not Donald Trump, you know. Sorry, it's PG. Try to keep it right. You know, somebody said I called in just to hear myself talk, but I'm a Sigma, man. Last thing I want to do is social media. But, hey, calling you is an honor, ABL. I just wanted to say that.
I appreciate it.
Know. But yeah, man. You know, so I've been in the drunk tank. It's kind of like a rite of passage. And but I watched them punching my black and Latino friends, and they didn't punch me, man. And that didn't make me feel good, you know. So, fact of the matter is, in jail, and I'm seeing a lot of people getting out of jail. By the way, I talk to homeless people all the time. You know, 3 meals a day, shower, heat, bones, you know, TV, you know, $2 cigarettes, $1 matches, prison noodles, you know, and it's better for them in than it is out on the streets where you're cold and shivering and you know. So the world's like Orwellian, man. I call it, you know, Cove 1984, man.
For real.
You know, for real. Everything is backwards. You know what I mean? Like people are getting paid twice as much not to work. I mean, that's crazy, you know. And I'm not allowed to go to KFC to lick other people's fingers anymore. But hey, you know that alien invasion, man, it's not going to be fake. They're going to invade when Trump mines their moon cheddar, bro.
Oh.
I've been interested. I've been watching your show. You know, I like the moon comments. You know, but either way, man, the ventilator. The story I heard is that the mucus, there's too much mucus, and that it's getting pink. Basically, the alveoli are too fragile for suction, right, or irrigation. So the ventilators probably aren't best for that. If you have an obstructed airway, that's one thing. You know, if you're trying to keep the person's brain alive during CPR, you want to breathe, right? Even though they don't say you don't want to anymore. But the thing I heard was you don't want to blow mucus in on top of those alveoli. You know what I mean? It'll make it worse.
Right.
The Tanzania thing, that was hilarious, man. He accepted the COVID tests. Then he tested a bunch of inanimate objects, like a goat and some fruit and stuff. Sent it in, and all of the stuff got COVID. The goat had COVID. The fruit had COVID. You didn't hear that story?
Hey, I did hear that part. I did hear that. Yeah.
Well, you know, man, yeah, like I said, there was the Chad incident. You can't be trusting that thing, and that's why I wanted to call in, man. You know, like first, you know, like vaccines, you know, mandated in the schools, but you know, my kid was vaccinated for a custody battle, so you know, I stayed in my Masonic closet, you know, and then Wi-Fi, right? But I know it's like long term, and you know, we don't have Wi-Fi in my house, so. You know, and I was still corporate, you know, and so I didn't speak out. But then a few years back, you know, I saw, you know, child predators get exposed. And I saw all these evil trolls on YouTube attacking all the people who believe that modern slavery exists, and it does. And so I started typing facts, even though I never wanted to even really, like, you know, participate, you know, in it, you know, like I like to build stuff, you know, I'm aware I'd be outside, you know, I'm not really a big social media guy, right? But so I just started typing, man, and I got, you know, shadow banned like a dozen ways, and then they gave out my private email, and then they locked me out. And then, you know, they came after the non-essential business owners. So I called you, right? And then, you know, they attacked the best treatment. I called you again, man. So I appreciate you letting me call in. You know, it's always a pleasure. But people like me, like Jesse Ventura, who don't have a smartphone and just use cash, we exist. But you won't ever hear from us, man. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
That, you know, and cocoa butter's white. Anyways, hey, this is Doug E. Prose signing out, and I'll talk to you next time.
All right, thank you for the call, man. Appreciate you.
All right, talk to you. Bye.
All right, thank you to Doug E. for the call. I appreciate it. Let's get to the next call. 305 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Oh, this is Jay, man. I'm down in Miami. What's happening?
Everything's good, man. What's going on?
Oh, man. I'm so glad to hear from you. Let's check it out. In this country, I don't know where our freedoms have gone, but these people need to wake up quick, okay? Social distancing is your enemy, okay? If I wanted to genocide and kill a bunch of people, which they already have, all of these abortion clinics all over the place, what would I do? I know I got a pandemic going on, but I'm going to tell y'all not to social distance, okay? They want to control you. You can't go to church. You can't do nothing. Everybody wants you to wear a mask, and it's not even good. I mean, people run around jogging, falling out. Why? Because they run jogging with a mask on. I mean, does that make any sense?
No, it doesn't. Yeah.
Huh?
I said no, it doesn't.
It doesn't. You know, I just came from the park today. You know, I was in a park, and I'm telling you, there was like nobody within probably 50, 60 yards of me. I mean, there's like woods and trees everywhere. Nice, beautiful day. Park ranger comes by. You need to wear a mask. I started laughing. I was like, dude, are you serious? Yeah. All right, I'm going home. I'm going home. I can't deal with this no more. This don't make no sense. I mean, dude, it's like sunshine, you know, nice little breeze. I don't understand it, but I do understand it. Because actually, what this is a spiritual war, okay? They're not trying, they're doing. And people are letting them take their life away from them because they're in fear, okay? Fear and social distancing is your enemy. You understand what I'm saying? It is. Because, I mean, I can't understand it. I've been out since, okay? But to see people, I've seen some people come out of lockdown now, and they're so afraid. I mean, they're frightened. And I see because they sit in the house and all they do is binge and watch these frightening fear mongers on TV all day, you know. Then when they come out of their house, they're scared for real, you know. They're scared for real, and I respect that, you know. But we could have all come out, just wear our masks and keep going about our business without stopping nothing. But no, they want to control everything. Now they got these drones that are going to interfere with your life. A lot of these people that are sitting here listening to this garbage don't understand that these things are even going on. They don't even know these things are happening, you know, that you talk about on your show and things of that nature. They don't know because they're glued to CNN and these news stations that are, I mean, I don't want to get you in trouble because a lot of times I try to share your videos because I'm a barber, you know, and it's hit me hard, okay? Hard, you know, and they don't understand. People don't understand. It's like, dude, what are you looking at? You know, are you not listening to these other doctors and this other Fauci bullhead? You know, I don't want to call him what I want to call him, but I know what he's doing. He's in bed with Gates. You understand? Come on, man. It's a smoke is fire. You understand what's really going on? People are not listening, not paying attention because they're caught up in distraction, you know. And then I don't know, you know. I mean, they use the racism to divide us between black and white. Okay, and that's just another thing to get caught up in. While they reach in your back door and they try to steal from you, because that's what they're doing. I mean, now that they're letting people out, what they're doing to the black community. All these, it's killing more black people than everybody. This disease, the virus, don't care what color you are, you dummy. You know do you understand that? If you're gonna get infected, and you know you're gonna get infected, and if your body can handle it, it can. You understand? There are things you can do to remedy. People need to look for the remedy, not the cure, because there is no cure. You understand? Vaccination, what's that? They're gonna shoot you with something you're waiting in your house trying to run from, and then you're going to wait in line to get shot what you're running from so that you don't get what you was running from in the first place? Come on, man. I mean, I don't understand. But I don't know. It's frustrating, you know, and we've had some you know, customers try to help out a little bit, but this hit me hard because, look, I was sitting here, I've been trying to help my parents out. You understand? I have a father in a home, okay? He's on a breathing tube. You know, not a breathing tube. He's on a feeding tube, you know? And he has severe dementia. And, you know, if he got a cough from a regular cold, he would die.
Right.
You know? So, but he's in a home. And my mom, she goes up, she checks on him every day. But we got to understand, sure, we got people, we already have, I don't want to, get on that situation. But there are people being abused in these homes.
Yes.
And people want to check on their people. You understand? There are other things involved that people aren't seeing.
That's a very good point because, you know, you got a lot of these homes, you know, you got sexual abuse going on, physical abuse going on. And if they're keeping you from the homes, you don't know what's going on.
You don't. I mean, even in these hospitals, once you, man, they taking these people away from you, you know. I had one customer, he came in, you know, through the back door or not. But anyway, he was, you know, I mean, his wife was pissed. She took him to the hospital for something else, and he was getting tested, you know, and before the testing, he came back, they put him on the COVID-19 floor. He was like, hey, what you doing to my husband? You know, we gotta go put him up there for. If that's where it's at, is where people sitting around at. They got it. Why you gonna put him up there? You know,
right?
They don't care. You know, they scared themselves. How you gonna go somewhere where they scared themselves and they think all y'all sick, so they don't put all y'all in the sick room, even if all y'all ain't sick. No, man, you don't do that. You know, but this slow to spread thing. All right, slow to spread. What do that mean? You still gonna get it. So what do you do? What do you wait for? Go outside. You know, stop letting these people take your life. You know what I'm saying? There's people I don't understand. There's people really, you know, they don't understand what they're doing to people. You know, my ears are to the ground. And I walk around all day and I hear people talking. You know, they don't understand what they're doing, even with the masks. You know, these masks are dangerous. You know what I'm saying? I mean, people in the hood, y'all don't understand how people get down. They already want to see your face. Now I got somebody walking up on me with a mask on. I'm looking at your hands, dude. If your hands in your pockets, man, hey, man, you know, what's happening?
Right.
You know? Because they getting robbed. Man, it's like 2 or 3 kids that got shot down here. You know what I'm saying? These little kids killing each other. They ain't in school. 16, 17-year-olds getting shot on the porch because they got this feud going on. They're out of school. You know, they ain't got nothing to do. They don't talk about that. You know? That's going on. That's real deal. I mean, you can put that down. That's because they come to get their hair cut because they got to go to the funeral. So I know about it. And it's sickening, you know? And then to think of others. People don't think of others. They always think of themselves. Oh, well, I'm of age. And this big thing is, you see all these people like Comey and these big money people, even Obama himself. They out there with no mask on enjoying themselves. You understand? And tell you to put a mask on. Why? Do you think all of them of age to be susceptible to this? All the people that got all the money, you know, these billionaires that own these networks, they want to walk around free. They want you to lock yourself up and control you because they don't care nothing about you. They don't care nothing about you. But then they want to split us little people up, and so one can say, "Oh, I'm essential," and the other be non-essential. What does it mean to be non-essential? My life is not essential. You understand? I have people that depend on me. You understand? I got 4 kids. You know what I'm saying? My father and I see you. I mean, in the home. You know what I'm saying? My mom, you know, dang, they got cancer, so she can't even deal with her problems looking for him. Y'all don't understand, man. This people out here living hard. You know, before. And now here this come?
Make it worse now.
What? Man, please. And then, you know, I don't know. And they're talking about, the stock market. Yeah, the stock market's going up. Yeah, it's good for people who already got money. But now the gap between poor and the rich has even gotten bigger because some of the middle class are falling off. You got these business owners that still got to pay rent on these places that they own, and they telling you they don't know that you can't work it and you can't open the place. So how am I still getting charged rent to rent here, and then they can't even get the loans, you know? So I don't know too many people down here that have gotten. I can speak for myself, you know, and others. You know what I'm saying? I don't understand that frustration. We going through it anyway. We used to it. We ain't used to the government doing that. No way. But anyway, you know, I just I was venting a little bit, and I appreciate your show, you know, and I wish you to get out the Trump that check it out. They done bamboozled you, dude. You understand? These people, China, and some of them, I'm gonna call it out because I don't care. They get me, they want to. Check it out. China and some of them Democrats, okay, was already in bed with them. You understand? Was already in bed. You don't think it's too hard for them? They got their people in the street. Look up the news. About 8, 9, 12 months ago, you got Chinese people in the street talking about democracy. And then you got Trump telling them, look, don't kill your people. You understand what I'm saying? So they say, you know what? Let's drop this virus on their ass. You understand? Bam. Now you don't hear none of that no more. These people ain't marching in the street no more. They ain't had to do nothing. They got that back. And then what they going to do? All right, Mr. Trump, y'all been over there talking that shit about us. Excuse my language. Talking about us. You know what? We gonna let the virus go over there and mess up your economy too. Flatten everybody, not just us. You know, that's what happened. You know, that's what we're going through. But I got an uncle who died from it, and he had it since December, and he died in March.
Wow.
They sent him home and told him like severe upper respiratory infection, and he was treating it like the flu for 3 months, and then like 2 days before the lockdown, he died. You know, and I was like, man, hydroxychloroquine, dude. You know,
right?
And with the zinc pack or whatnot. Then I got another uncle. You know what I'm saying? He's like 92. He was on a ventilator, dude. You understand? Called up there, bam. I don't want Uncle to die. You know what happened? He got it. You know what? Off ventilator 2 or 3 days. Bam, back home. They don't want to talk about that because Fauci and Gates lined up because they let it loose. Now they want to sit here and charge you for it. Yet at the same time, they're going to let America continue to kill your rights because you're going to let them. Because you're too scared because they get scaring you all day. You know, telling you about death and they're not telling you about life. 98% of the life people living from this, they ain't telling you about that. They don't want to. You put that on YouTube, it's going to get squashed. You know, I've been sharing this stuff all day with people. You know what I'm saying? I even got people just looking at me like I'm crazy because they brainwashed already. You know, but they'll find out. When they find out? When it's too late. They find out when it touched them. But they looking at when it's affecting everybody else, it's all right. It's just like a snake. When he's coiling and killing his prey ain't dead. He just squeezing it. You know what I'm saying? Until it hits your ribs. Now your ribs are broken. Oh man, there's something really going on here. Yeah, you're about to die, dude. You've been like giving up your rights. You don't have those rights no more. Oh, you mean tell me I don't have that right anymore? I can't do this? No. How you gonna go out with that girl? Y'all gotta walk to the movie 6 feet apart. Joking. But then you gotta wear a mask so you can't kiss her on the first or second date. You know? But people not understanding, man, and they think the world's gonna go back. It's not going back because they're gonna let it. If you're gonna let it go, they're gonna let it go. If the people don't stand up like these dudes are standing up for real, you understand? Y'all are just gonna let it go. As long as they tell you social distancing, dude, they ain't let it go. Because that's their hand on your neck. That's your collar. That is your collar. Social distancing is your collar. Okay? Because they control the churches. Okay? You can't meet and greet. You can't have no gathering. They control your protesting. Yeah, you can't have social distancing. You can't have no gathering. That's their collar. That's the only thing they're going to be able to enforce, and they're going to enforce it. They've already started enforcing it. They're tracking you already. Then the tracking thing you're talking about, what you want to track? You're already tracking my cell phone. What more you want to track? You know? People not understanding and giving this stuff willingly. You know? Oh, yes, please take this willingly. Oh, I don't understand. But anyway, I don't want to kill you because I've been, trying to get in myself so I know people behind me. But I thank you for letting me talk, and I appreciate this show.
All right, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate it.
Cool.
Yep. I know.
All right.
Yeah, shout out to the caller. Great call. Hey, it's all facts right there. I had to let him just kind of rock for a minute because he was just telling all good facts. 100%. And RIP to his family members that passed away from the virus. It's crazy. We got treatments now that's going to work, but some people don't want to put them on the books because of political reasons. They don't want to, people got their own, people are so afraid to do different things because of what it might do to them. Like, you got to stop with this fear and just do the right thing regardless. Alrighty, but shout out to you guys. I got super chats I'm going to read right quick and then I'm going to get back to the calls. All right, shout out to Fat Tony who says, get high, my brother. I'm not going to be able to do that, but thank you for that. Excuse me. Shout out to Draco and Kodak who says, stopping in to show support. I always listen to your stream the next day while I'm working from home. Makes the day go a little fast. Hope you're doing well. And I thank you for that, man. I appreciate it. If you want to listen to an audio only, you can go on the link below. I got it on a podcast format. So it's on Spotify, Apple, iTunes, Google Play, Anchor, Stitcher, all that good stuff. All right. Shout out to Hiker AZ67 who says, Code Red Conversations did a great video about that kid who got punched, talking about the kid in Sacramento area. Thank you for that, man. I appreciate it. Shout out to Evodio Tovar. I know I butchered your name and I'm sorry. Who says your argument is flawed? Talking about my man, Snap Turtle probably. Shout out to Scott Bond who says love you a bit back for the great videos. Not much, but giving what I can right now. Hey, it's all good. Your support is appreciated regardless. Thank you for that. Thank you to Snapzilla Gorilla who says some of your callers are saying I'm parroting quotes. Brian from High Impact Blog. Shout out to him. Good dude. That's fine because he doesn't compromise on freedom, and neither do I. How many different ways should people convey it? Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Thank you to Snapzilla again. This was the guy that was having a conversation about drugs and stuff. Shout out to him. Good dude. He says, who's enforcing all these stay-at-home orders, violating social distancing orders to arrest surfers minding their own business? Well, you know, the stay-at-home order is a little different than the drug thing, but I see where you're going. But thank you for that. Shout out to Zen Christopher who says, this caller is on point, ABL. Longtime supporter here. We are complicit in letting our economy and social norms be suppressed and oppressed. Let people who are controlled by fear stay home. Exactly. If you're controlled by fear, if you scared, like I said before, if you're scared, go to church. How about that? Shout out to Noreen Ryan who says, love your show. Appreciate all you do. Well, thank you for your very kind words and your donation. I most certainly appreciate it. And thank you to Hiker67AZ. I said it backwards. Hiker AZ67 who says, in Arizona, they're opening restaurants on Monday. Many restaurants cannot afford to buy the food they would need to reopen. The small businesses won't make it. Restaurants won't make it. Yeah. See, the thing is, you know, if they're opening the restaurants, it's a few questions you got to ask. First thing is, do they have enough, like you said, enough money to be able to buy the food that they need to restock because they have that throw the food away that they had stocked when the shutdown hit? That's the first thing. Second thing is, are they going to have enough capacity in the restaurant to serve the ones that got to serve to be able to make their money? Because if you have social distancing, you got to have like 6 feet in between each person. You're going to have 50% less capacity in the restaurant, and that's going to lead to less revenue, which is going to lead to them not being able to make any kind of money, really. They have a whole business plan that's laid out. Okay, we're going to have X number of chairs, X number of patrons per day. We're going to get everybody out in 30 to 45 minutes, clean up the jank. We're going to have wait staff, table busters. Like every line item, it counts. When you just mess that up and just throw arbitrary rules on it, they can't survive like that, and nobody can. The only places that can survive are the big corporate giants that are somehow allowed to stay open, like Walmart, Target, etc. But I digress. Shout out to Rymu Entertainment who says, caller spit and fire, drop his link, ABL. I want to send them out some cut money. Talking about the barber. Hey, if you're listening, barber, hey, send them a link, man, to get you. But let me get back to the calls. The number to call is 434-658-1220. 312, you know the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hello?
Yes. Who am I speaking to?
Oh, this is Aja.
Alrighty. What's going on?
Okay, I'm sorry. It caught me off guard because I'm watching the live stream too. Oh, have you ever had anybody call in from Chicago?
I'm not sure. Yeah, I have actually. I know a guy that's an ICE agent in Chicago.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm on the south side of Chicago, and we've been going viral with all the clips of Mayor Lightfoot and even the Illinois Department of Health, the director, talking about how the deaths are counted. You know, saying that even if there was somebody in hospice and they die with coronavirus in their system, then they could be counted on the death toll. So what happens is we have these seemingly arbitrary like spikes in the death toll, and there's really no way to verify if these are like actual deaths, presumed deaths. And our Governor Pritzker, has probably one of the strictest lockdowns in the nation, and he announced, I think yesterday or the day before yesterday, that we really can't go back to normal unless there's a vaccine. So he basically announced this indefinite lockdown, you know, until this vaccine comes. And then there's problems like with the unemployment system, like that's like antiquated, it's not working, there's huge backlog. And then we're kind of like in this like super police state where their life has like unleashed the police on the population. So I just think it's good for people to know like what are some of the downsides to some of these like lockdowns. You know, in Chicago, because like so many things are going viral when it comes to like the mayor, the Department of Health. It just seems like, you know, the goalpost is always moving. You know, it was, well, wait, let's get the hospitals down to capacity, and now it's vaccine. So it's like we're wondering, do we ever come off a lockdown in Illinois and in Chicago?
Yeah, I mean, the thing about it is, this is a coronavirus. The common cold is a coronavirus. It's been around for forever. Is there a vaccine or a cure for that? No, and it's not going to be. It's not going to be a vaccine for this. They keep talking about, oh, it's going to be a vaccine. You know, I'm a Trump supporter. I'm going to vote for Trump. We're talking about, oh, there could be a vaccine by the end of the year. I doubt it, because if they could come up with a vaccine for this coronavirus, then why not the common cold? And it's been around for years. Yeah. Like, it ain't going to happen. So all they're doing right now is just saying things that don't make any sense. And they're going to damage the economy for an extended period of time. And you're going to have a lot of social problems that come as a result. You're going to have crazy crime in the home, outside the home, all kind of stuff. So I think at a certain point, they got to back off of that, because it's never going to happen, or it won't be no time soon. Because I think somebody, it might have been Fauci or somebody else, an expert, said the whole pandemic could be going on for 2 years. So you're going to have this going on for 2 years? Not possible.
Yeah, and I think the bizarre thing is that we have like these enormous suspensions of our constitutional rights, and it's like, well, you know, after the vaccine they'll be restored, and it doesn't make any sense. So there's been a few lawsuits. One has gone in favor of an Illinois lawmaker down south, where he got a temporary restraining order, so the shelter in place doesn't apply to him. And then another lawmaker further up north just did one where he included all the residents of Illinois, but that case has been continued to August. And then recently there was a church that filed suit. But interestingly enough, the one thing I can't say that I have seen is arrests. Now, I'm not everywhere in the whole state, but it's kind of like they're testing the waters to see. They're threatening, we will have you arrested, we'll cite you. But that's the one thing I haven't seen, because this church that filed suit, they lost their case and they're going to appeal. They actually are still having services and nobody's been arrested. So that's been like the big question. You know, they had the parties over the weekend that kind of went viral, the parties on the west side that went all around, you know, that those clips have been circulating.
Oh, yeah.
And people were asking the question, well, then why don't you guys arrest them? And I think what they're trying to do is just really scare people. Like, again, I'm on the south side, so the optics here are really crazy. Like, you go up to the grocery store and there's police officers in the grocery store, like doing security. Like, that's unheard of. You know, there's yellow tape everywhere, like the police tape to make the lines for the grocery store, or, you know, point out these COVID testing stations. It looks like it's a scary scene. And I think it's optics, you know, a lot of smoke and mirrors and illusions just to really scare the people. But again, to my knowledge, like, they have not actually been arresting people, just scaring people, cops pulling up on people. And to me, that's, you know, that's harassment. You know, you go up north, you go other places in the city, and to me, it's different. So I think it's just interesting to see like how this is playing out in Chicago, since we're getting a lot of national attention for some of the weird things that are happening.
Yeah, I saw all those clips too. I saw the party. I'm seeing all of that. And, you know, I think you're right about the whole scare tactic. That's really what's going on. But apparently it's not really working too well. So it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really sad because Chicago is a great city. I'm an Airbnb host here. And so my business has basically been dashed into pieces. And, I have some reservations for like September, October, August. But with the announcement a couple of days ago, Pritzker's like, well, we're going to have to cancel a lot of the festivals and, events. And a lot of my reservations are very event-centric. So it's just like, man, it's like there's so many like cascading effects from this. And to me, it just doesn't seem necessary, especially when we don't even know the data is that accurate. Like, I have a lot of questions with every time, there's a party over the weekend or, something happens, like suddenly there's a spike in the numbers. to me, it seems fishy, but that's where we are right now.
Yeah, I hear you. I'm with you 100%.
Well, I watch you all the time. It was great to talk to you, and thanks. Keep doing what you're doing.
Well, thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate it.
All right, thanks. Bye.
All right, shout out to the caller. Yeah, that's crazy. So, Airbnb hosts can't have your business anymore, or it's like, it's torn apart. I don't really see what the objective is. At this point, the so-called cure, which it ain't no cure, it's just something that they're doing. The measure that they're taking is worse than the virus itself. It's worse than the virus itself, because how many are going to catch it and how many are going to die? It's like the flu when you're talking about morbidity. It's a bad virus to catch. It's a real virus to catch, but what's chances of you dying? And we got treatments right now. So they're talking about, we got to have the lockdown until a treatment or a vaccine. The treatment is here. Hydroxychloroquine, Z-Pack. And the other thing that Fauci wants to promote, because it's part of Big Pharma, and it's expensive and you got to shoot it through an IV, versus hydroxychloroquine, which is just like a cheap generic for like 50 cents a pill you could just take, and it's safe, and it's been around since World War II, versus this new thing, Remdesivir, whatever, which is kind of experimental, and you got to bang it up in your vein. You understand? But that's a different story, and I'll move on. The whole point is that there's treatment already, and we know who's going to get it and who will suffer from it already. If you're elderly, comorbidity, heart disease, lung disease, pre-existing conditions. If you got that going on, you are susceptible to it. So there's no mystery behind this. So I don't even understand what we're really doing. Let me get to the next call. 304, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Jimbrowski.
All righty, man. What's going on?
All right, we live?
We're live.
Dang, you're in Virginia?
I'm in Tennessee now, but I'm from Virginia. And I see your area code. You from West Virginia?
No, actually, that's where my mother's at. I'm actually calling about a mile away from where man got shot jogging in Brunswick, Georgia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and but I grew up in PG County, Northeast DC, Baltimore area.
Okay.
Yeah, didn't really. My main thing was wanting to say that it's awesome how you allow regular people to call. I don't see that much, and instead of getting into other conversations, before I get off the phone, I just want to say thanks for what you do.
Hey, no problem. No problem.
And well, except for the competition, how would what are some of the things that you could say to someone else that wanted to, have a YouTube channel and allow calls to come in? Are there certain technical issues that obviously you've learned and studied? Maybe you want to elaborate on that. I mean, I'll let you go, but it's a good thing. I think we need more of this,
Oh, thank you for that, man. I appreciate you, but yeah, I'll get into it. So thank you for the call.
Yeah, no doubt. Blessings.
All right, now. Yeah, shout out to the caller. So just a quick crash course. I think I may do like a real course on this, because I'm seeing a lot of these streams people are doing during this whole lockdown thing, and the audio is terrible, the light's terrible, the video is terrible. They can't hear what's going on. They got stuff in the background happening. So just a quick crash course. My setup is beyond what 90% of people would do from the beginning. Like, you shouldn't do what I do from the beginning. What I had from the start was 2 pieces of equipment and a desktop computer. Don't try to do it with your phone. At least have a laptop. So have my laptop or a desktop that I had at the time, and I still got now. I had a microphone. The microphone was an Audio-Technica ATR 2100 USB. The camera was a Logitech C920. Okay, so that right there on Amazon for the microphone and laptop, probably about $100, maybe about $125 total for both, depending upon when you buy it, maybe about $125 total. And to take calls, what I do, I have Skype, right? You can buy a Skype telephone number. So the 434-658-1220, that's the Skype number. That's not my phone number at all. What you're doing, you calling Skype, and I can see the whole thing over here. I got all the calls in the queue. I can see who's calling in up to about 3 or 4 at a time in the queue. And then I just answer, and I talk normally through the microphone, because it can hear my microphone this way and also through my program OBS. So people call in, I can talk to them that way, or I can do Skype and put them on the screen. Now that's kind of the crash course. You still got to know how to use the program I use to stream, which is called OBS, Open Broadcaster Studio, software, whatever it is. And then you can route all your stuff in here. I can mute the desktop audio that the Skype phone number comes in through. I can cut off my own microphone audio. Like if I'm talking right now, hear me no more. You see how I did that? So I can do all of that from right here in this little interface. But to start a channel, you got to be consistent. You can't be taking days off, and you got to keep plugging. Some people are going to be consistent and not really gain a lot because you got to have something about you people like. You got to be a unique person, a unique voice, personality, something about you that stands out from the rest. Because there's guys out there that say the same thing I do, that are black or white or whatever the race is. So you just got to be somebody that's different. Start your channel, have it kind of be successful and grow. So that's my crash course advice. And let me take one last call and then I wrap it on up, put a bow on the top. Let's go 760 in the line. Who am I speaking to?
How you doing, ABL?
I'm great. How about yourself?
I'm doing great, man. You know, sticking in there. Hey, man, I know this is a little off topic here. I've been trying to call for a while. It's about the Australian fire stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, I know it's a little off topic. I do have a little criticism. There's a black guy from LA just earlier. I mean, dude, you got to pin them on that pivots, dude. Like, he was like an NBA star. He pivots so hard on every question you asked him. It was like insane. But about the Australia thing, like I don't like how a lot of like alarmists are talking about wildfires as if it's literally about global warming, because it's not. I'm actually a firefighter.
Oh, my dad was too for 22 years, retired as a captain. So shout out to you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it. It's weird because no one ever hears this online. They always, mix the numbers up. Yes, heat does affect fire. It really does. So out of the fire triangle, which your dad knows, there's only 3 options here. You have heat, you have oxygen, and you have fuel. We can't do nothing about oxygen. So we have 2 options here. You have heat and fuel. We can only eliminate 2 of those things. Like, we try to do what we can. You can do the oxygen thing, but that's with foam. But it has to be it can't be a raging fire. Foam doesn't do nothing but raging fire. So what I'm having the issue with a lot of people's, like Australia, for instance, they're open, they're barren. We can't get to that as fast as we can. And what happens is we don't allow fires to even grow and burn out. Every time a fire blows out, what happens? It grows luscious green after, like a year or 2. So what happens is we put these fires out so early that all these trees is die. Fuel. And the second a lightning strike happens or some idiot with a campfire, there's nothing you can do about it. It's not global warming. It's just us growing as a population. That's the problem. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, I see what you're saying.
So it's not about global warming. It's us. We expand, and we want to put these things out. But we can't put them out. And the second a lightning strike hits out in the middle of God knows where, if we can't get to it in time, all that fuel that just builds up, all that dead wood, all that trees, that is what heats all of it. And any firefighter, they would agree with me. The problem is, like, if you look at the history, the second that wildland firefighters were invented, since we've been doing that, the fires have been increasing, is because we put them out before they burn all that rubbish on the bottom. And that's why we do control burns. And it's hard to even do control burns because of regulations.
Mm-hmm.
And then when there is a big fire, we fight fire with fire. We literally burn off because we can't do nothing with oxygen at that point. And then with the Australian people, remember the Americans that were there that came on the airplanes that came out there to fight fire with them? Those guys weren't fighting fire. They came to take over. I've been to Australia. I've been to Alaska. A lot of these other countries, like Alaska's our country, but a lot of these other countries, they have us come there because we know what the fuck we're doing. I literally watched some Australian guy spraying 30, 40 foot trees, and they're all like, what is that little bit of water going to do? You're not doing nothing to that. That's why they bring us in. So there's like a lot of I watched your articles there. I just want to give you like those little tidbits because no one hits on that. It's not about global warming. I've been to Alaska. It's cold as fuck.
Well, you can't cuss though.
I'm sorry, Bill. That's the thought. I'm sorry. But it's cold in Alaska. Raging fires. It's not because of the heat. The heat was one thing, but the fuel was the most important thing that kept those fires really hot. And they were raging out there too. So that's all I was like. I know it's a little late, ABL. I'm sorry, but next time they do that whole global warming, wildland stuff, it's a lot more oh my God, I'm sorry, I'm a brain fart here. But it's a little more complicated than you think it is. It's not just heat. Everyone just wants to focus on heat. Heat is one factor out of like a 3, magnitude of factors.
I got you.
I want to shout that out, man. I love you. Keep it up, man. And I know it's a little late, but I was a little busy and I couldn't, it's hard to get in, your calls, which is, understandable.
Oh, it's all good, man. Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate it.
Appreciate you, man. Keep it up, man. Love you.
All right, now take care. All right, that'll be a wrap for tonight. Thank y'all for joining. You guys have been fantastic. I really appreciate you. If you were not able to get on, I'm sorry. The phone lines were jumping tonight. I try to get everybody on as soon as I can, but that will be a wrap. What we got going on? Thank you to everybody that joined. You guys are great. Oh, super chats. Let me get to those right quick and then wrap it on up. Shout out to, let me see, Ghost Rebel, who says, how in the world do you wake people up? How much freedom do we have to lose for people to see the truth for what it is? And why does Trump trust Fauci? A lot of great questions. I think what's happening right now is that people have experienced this whole lockdown thing and people aren't liking it too much. People, like I said in the beginning or earlier in the show, people were against me saying that we should open up the country. They were saying, ABL, you being selfish, is too soon. But now they're saying you were right. And I'm not trying to gloat. I'm just saying people are starting to come to their own conclusion as they've experienced it. I knew what it was going to be because I could see it. But sometimes you got to experience it to be able to understand what is going to happen. They don't understand what's going to happen until it happens. And then at that point, I'm like, okay, now I see what you were saying. So it takes experience sometimes. And then as far as Fauci, Trump's kind of in between the rock and the hard place because he's not a disease expert. So it's like, who do you trust? And then if you fire Fauci right now, that's going to be terrible for people. And who do you bring on? Like, it's going to be terrible for, PR purposes, for, political purposes. It's just a bad situation. I think what will end up happening is Trump is going to do something and go around Fauci. It's going to be a backlash, but it'll be worth it to save the country. Shout out to Snapzilla Gorilla, who says, someone said my argument is flawed, but did not say how. Do they actually have a cogent rebuttal or are they just cheap? Much support to you, brother. Hey, it's all good, man. Thank you for that. Definitely appreciate you. Shout out to Max Dominguez, who says, good news in Houston, Texas. Not as bad on masks and lockdowns as the rest of the nation. I now have family, Democrats, saying they may vote for Trump in November. Keep on rocking. Thank you for all you do. Hey, that's what I like to hear, man. And thank you for that. Definitely appreciate you. Thank you to Charles Turner Jr., who says, ABL, are you able to receive mailer checks in Tennessee address? Yes. That address on my website, as a P.O. box, you can send whatever you want. You can send a cake if you can get it through FedEx, because they can get large packages. It's a UPS store, so you can send whatever you want there. Don't send no anthrax because we'll get the people on you. But send whatever you want, man. It's all good. He says he promised he won't send me a mask. Great show once again. The haters can go away. There you go, man. I'm with you. If you want to send me anything through snail mail, go to my website, anthonyblogan.com. All the latest articles and stuff. I write 90% of everything on that website myself. People that help me. If you want to, contribute or whatever, just let me know. I'll see what I can do. I don't make the money from the website, so I'm not like offering a job here. I'm just saying if you want to contribute, it's all good. But that'll be a wrap for me. So thanks to all the moderators for doing a great job. We got Ansel, we got Michelle A, we got Nick Taylor. I saw you in the chat earlier, Nick Taylor, if you're still there. We got Bill from the Hills, we got Elijah Jean, we got everybody. We got Ansel, Killer Sushi, the whole squad. So thank y'all for joining. And until next time, y'all be safe. I'm out, and peace.